Welcome to Orange Crest in the city of Riverside. It is the CIF High School Football Game of the Week. We're at Martin Luther King High School, where for the first time since 2013, the Wolves of King will take on the Rams of Ramona High School. My name is Ghazal Hassan. This is Jeff Gorham alongside, and it's a renewal of acquaintances, if you will, Jeff.
It's nice to have this inner-city rivalry with two phenomenal coaches.
Yeah, Ken Mashinsky in his fifth year at the helm at Ramona. He's really stabilized his team, Jeff. He took them to the CIF Division 13 final back in 2019, established a culture.
And we've talked about that week in and week out, culture. Coach Mashinsky is one of those guys that is hands-on. He's a family man, and he treats his teams with passion and integrity.
You know, on the flip side, King really hasn't had a great deal of stability, but I think that changes with Jason McMains, their new head coach. He had a good run at Rubidoux a few years ago. The last 2 years, he helmed Citrus Hill, and he's bringing his program here to the Wolves, hoping that King can eventually compete in that Big Eight.
And I'll tell you what, he's going to do a great job. He's a great football mind, offensive mind. We saw it at Notre Dame when he was the offensive coordinator. We saw him at Citrus Hill do some great things, and now I see he will do the same here at King.
It's the Rams and the Wolves coming up next, the CIF on Riverside TV. We are underway. Evan Milstead puts his foot into it. It'll skip out of bounds. Let's see what Ramona will do, and we're live here. A little bit of a quick start. Ghazal Hassan, Jeff Gorham with you. And it'll be from the 21-yard line where Ramona will pick it up.
Yeah, they started early. Early game. It's a day game, and it was about 113 today, Ghazal. And right now it's about 105, I bet.
So with the kick off out of bounds, they'll put it up to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for Ramona. We'll get our first look at Nathan Johnson, the junior quarterback, working out of the shotgun. Bo Bruins to his left. 4 receivers in the formation. Little option play early. Johnson going to throw. It's complete to the outside. That's Jordan Daniels, and he's ahead of the field. Daniels to the 20 and brought down from behind just at about the 10-yard line, making the tackle for King High. Evan Gabriel Simon runs him down, and a huge gain of 55 yards down to the 10. That young man, Jordan Daniels, basketball player, making it happen off the little swing pass from Nathan Johnson.
You have to love the swing pass to start this ball game. And I'll tell you, that's a momentum builder. If you're Ramona, you've got to be happy. The first play of the game, the coach's son throwing a dime.
So 1st and goal from the 10. Shiner comes into motion. And here's the give to Bruins. Bruins dancing to the right. He's pulled down from behind. Making the tackle for King on the play is Nicholas Ochoa. Ochoa, one of the starters at the linebacker position. I mentioned Evan Gabriel, Simon, Adrian Ruelas, Kenneth Felt, and Marcus Harper round out the front four for the Wolves. Ochoa, Shackelford, Tyndall, the linebackers. We'll also see Jack McPherson, Torrey Simmons, and Zypher Shankenberg at the corners. Elijah Smiley Flores and Dayton Ford are the safeties. Call it a 2-yard game. Johnson to throw. Lotta Green, he'll step up and get down to the 1-yard line. Got hit hard. Tyndall underneath. I believe that was McPherson up top on the hit. So 3rd and goal comes up.
So the Rams coming out after missing last week because of COVID protocols. The Rams are finally getting to play in their first game of the season.
So Luis Villarreal checks in as the fullback. Here's the give to Bruins. He's right, he's left, he's over the top. Touchdown, Ramona. And they come down the field very quickly. 65 yards, Jeff, in 4 plays.
4 plays, I'll tell you what, man, they just look efficient. That's a Ken Mashinsky team. That's, part of the tangibles that he brings to this program is, it's his 4th season. He's been to a CIF championship. These kids want that elusive championship. I'll tell you what, starting off pretty good here. Just 4 plays in for the Rams.
Isaac Conrado on for the PAT. He was pretty good. We saw him last year, Jeff. He puts his foot into it, splits the uprights, and it's 7-0. And Ram High, we saw them in the spring. And you mentioned, you like Bo Bruins, and they were doing a good job running the ball. Here's what's different now. Man, they got a big offensive line, Jeff.
They're huge. You and I were walking around. I'm no slouch. Well, maybe I am. I'm 6'8", about 270. And there's guys I'm looking eye to eye with, it seemed like. So, yeah, the Rams have a big line.
Amari Wiley, Andrew Lopez, Evan Osterhout, Adrian Diaz-Ledesma, and London Lomas. I mean, they go 260, 350, 250, 300, 215. I don't think we've ever seen a Ramona line that big.
No, I tell you what, though, it sounds like they spend a lot of money at that training table. Man, those are some big dudes.
Yeah, I hope the quarterback doesn't have to buy them tacos every Wednesday, because that would be a little bit of an expenditure for Nate Johnson.
But see, it's always nice, though, when your dad is the head coach.
That's true.
Because then the head coach would have to buy all the tacos.
So King, with their first opportunity, back deep to receive for the Wolves, Elijah Smiley Flores and Torrey Simmons. Conrado tees it up for Ramona. So a quick strike for the Rams. They take a quick 7-0 lead here Friday evening in the Orange Crest neighborhood. Getting a little bit loud underneath us, the King faithful. Conrado puts his foot into it. It's a short kick. Hits the turf, and a little bit of confusion. Finally picked up at around the 20, and being slung down is Torrey Simmons. And Simmons tackled on the play. Making the tackle for Ramona is Isaac Guerrero. And the Wolves will start inside the 20. Now, this is where Jason McMain's the new head coach for King, Jeff. He's a real good kind of an offensive guru. So he's a guy that can breathe some life into this offense.
Remember 3 years ago, he was at Notre Dame, and he was doing all kinds of different offensive sets. Most of the time, nobody knew what he was doing, but it was very, very effective. Like I said, a great offensive mind.
Jaron Harros, the freshman, is going to get the start for King. He's behind center. He'll turn and he'll give. And the ball's on the turf at the 10-yard line, recovered by King. A little bit of confusion. Falling on it for the Wolves is Dayton Ford. And so a loss on the play, but they keep the I was about to say basketball. They keep the football. What I was going to say is when I spoke to Coach McMains on Tuesday, he wasn't sure at the time if Duran was going to get the start. He's like, we like him. He's going to play. Not sure if he's going to start yet. The freshman drew the nod here. 2nd down and 15 coming up. Duran to throw. Nice smooth throw over the middle to Simley Flores, and Flores takes it up to the 25-yard line. Close to a first down. It is a first down.
It's pretty nice for your first completion as a high school football player as a freshman.
Yeah. We've seen that a lot more now. You know, we talked about it. You know, Jaden Daniels, you remember at Cajon, and then Eric Galliano. Remember we talked to him at San Jacinto. He started a freshman, Kajana Holloway, who's now at UCLA. 1st and 10. Line is the 27. Here's the pressure. This was a wildcat direct snap to Ford. Ford trying to weasel up, and he gets a couple of yards on the play.
You know, one thing you can talk about Coach McMain's offensively, you know, a lot of guys are pigeonholed into certain offenses no matter what. He's one of those guys, though, that will adjust based on his talent. If they have a great quarterback, they'll run some spread sets. If they don't, he's going to run that power smash mouth offense. He's just one of those guys that kind of just evolves among his talent.
So McPherson up in the far slot. Simley Flores split out to the bottom of the screen. 2nd and 8. And this is the give, running left up to about the 35-yard line. Picking up a couple of more yards is Chase Shackelford. Shackelford, the defensive standout, but getting some opportunity to play some running back as well. 3rd down. So from the 40, 1st down over the 41. Simley Flores to the bottom of the screen, McPherson in the near slot. Movement up front. It's the only question is, was he drawn? They're going to march it off against the Wolves. That hurts, Jeff, because it goes from 3rd and 1 now to 3rd and 6.
It looks like that the end there moved just a bit.
Another trait of Jason McMain's coach teams. He's going to bring a lot of interesting formations. McPherson in motion. Shackelford right up the gut, close to a first down. Didn't quite get it, I don't think. Tackle on the play for the Rams made by Desmond Watkins. So here we go, Jeff. Punting it away is Anthony Chavez.
We had him last year.
That's right.
He's one of my favorite kickers. He might be the largest kicker. I think McMahon said he's the biggest kicker in the league.
I think there was some dispute last year. Jason
Yes.
said, no. There's no dispute this year. Good kick by the young fella, too. Turns over and out of bounds at about the 35. And call it the 39, and that's where Ramona will start it. So a good offensive drive for Ramona, and then they're able to stall King. That penalty really hurt, though.
Yes, it did. You know, and talking about Jason McMahon's a little bit, Gazal, you know, he did one thing I thought was really, really smart and keeps cohesiveness among the program is he brought back Rich Martinez, who was the acting head coach last year, was also under Coach Mack's coaching staff. So a lot of continuity here within the coaching ranks that McMahon's brought over.
Kept a lot of the staff from last year. 1st and 10, line the 39. Play action. Johnson's got time. He'll throw complete to Zach Shiner. Shiner up near midfield, close to a first down. About a 9-yard pickup on the play. And Nate Johnson looks pretty comfortable throwing the football, despite this being his first varsity start.
A nice poise in the pocket.
I know you can make all the jokes about the coach's son, but he had to earn the gig. He wasn't given the gig. It was a competition, and he kind of edged out the competition in camp. They had a 2-year starter, Diego Muniz, graduate. And throwing again, complete to Shiner. Breaks the first tackle, gets the first down into King territory, about a 4-yard pickup.
We've seen Shiner for a few years now, and I'll tell you, just watch him. He's tough. He gets hit and just keeps going. You know, his mom is the head softball coach at Ramona.
Ramona Hall of Famer, right? Lauren Shiner.
She is great. One of the best. In fact, she was an assistant football coach one year under Vinny Fazio.
Our old friend Vinny Fazio.
Yeah, that's
What
right.
a character he is, man. I miss that guy.
I missed the bow tie.
From the 47 of King, it's a 1st and 10 for Ramona. Handoff to Bruins. Bruins spinning through a tackle down at about the 43-yard line. So a 4-yard pickup for Ramona. A lot of movement, rotation for the defense. Now, there are a couple of transfers waiting for eligibility for King, waiting to be cleared. And he said, Coach McMahon had explained to me that they're going to rotate. Linebacker, they'll have a little bit of a rotation. Offensive and defensive line, they'll rotate, try to keep guys fresh. 2nd and 6 from the 44, and whistles and flags. It's going to go against King. They'll march off encroachment. Our officiating crew this evening, referee is, the white hat is Ray Reyes, line judge Mike Anderson, head linesman John Lopez, the umpire Darrell Jones, and the back judge is John Doherty. So move the ball to the 39. 2nd and 2. They can do some things here. Watch the man to the top of your screen. That's Jake Valenzuela. He's really dynamic. Shiner in the near slot. Bruins up the middle. He's got the first down. Surges forward to the 35-yard line. Dragged down from behind by Evan Gabriel Simon, the defensive lineman for King. Now, keep this in mind for King, and I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody. They've had upwards of 40 players over the course of the last 2 months in some form of the COVID protocol.
Yeah,
so the continuity's been tough even in practice for Coach McMahon's.
Hey, you never know what you're going to have day in and day out. I think a lot of programs throughout Southern California are dealing with the same things, but yeah, that's a high number.
Johnson will throw it complete inside the 30-yard line, making the catch Emmanuel Vila. So 6-yard, 5-yard pickup on the play on first down, and they're chipping away. Started at the 39-yard line of Ramona. They're all the way to the 30-yard line of King. They've been moving along rather efficiently. Karan Baldwin split out to the bottom of the screen, trips to the top of your screen. Johnson looking, pulls the ball down. Now he'll run. Spins down about the 27-yard line, so a couple of yards on the play. Third and manageable.
You know, Ramona was supposed to play Corona last week, a Big 8 school, and you know they were looking to play these two Big 8 teams back to back. And you know, you and I talked to Mush before the game, said they had the best week of practice, and he was hoping for not to have a letdown. And I'll tell you what, they look like they're really, really playing on all cylinders and look very focused tonight.
The fake to Bruins, little RPO here, and Johnson gets a little how do you do it at the 25-yard line. They'll move the sticks. It'll be a first down for Ramona. So Johnson, we've seen him throw the ball pretty well. Not afraid to pull it down and run the ball either, Jeff.
No, he's like I said, showing a lot of great poise and a tremendous upside just from, just starting this game. I can't wait to see what he's going to be like in week 8, week 9.
And that's what Coach Mashinsky told us. He said, he can make all the throws, but he hasn't seen live action. What he was impressed with was how he led the huddle. 1st and 10. 25-yard line coming up. Johnson, he's looking downfield to the corner. Incomplete. Intended for Nick Valenzuela, one-on-one coverage in the corner. Elijah Simley Flores on the coverage.
Nice throw, though. Perfect. He threw it exactly where he was supposed to get it.
And that's what you want.
Defense.
He threw a confident throw.
Exactly.
And it's a quarterback making his first varsity start, which we saw yesterday, and it's easy to be a little bit jittery, but you can tell that Nate Johnson very confident in terms of making his decisions, and that's half the battle.
Yeah, and you talked about it just the last play here. He has the team, he has the huddle, and if you can do those things and learn that at a young age, I'll tell you what, that is just the culture that we've talked about with Coach Mush.
Jake Valenzuela split out to the top of the screen. Emmanuel Avila to the bottom of the screen. And here's Daniels in motion, takes the handoff straight ahead, runs right into Chase Shackelford. He'll get a couple up to the 23. 3rd down and 8 coming up. Daniels is a great story. Mom very active in the booster club for Ramona. Ken Mashinsky could not be more complimentary, dealing with some adversity at home in terms of family illness, but said the kid comes out, plays hard, basketball player. Remember they had the great player a couple of years ago in Roby. They got over from the basketball team. So maybe Ken Mashinsky has figured out how to find talent at Ramona, go to the basketball team.
Yeah, you got to share those athletes.
3rd down and 8, ball on the 23 of King. Johnson to throw. He's got time over the middle. Tipped, nearly intercepted, incomplete. McPherson stepped in front, nearly made a play there for King. That would have been huge.
Yeah, McPherson steps in. McPherson's dad played football at Ramona. His father, Dan, was a good friend of mine in high school. Visited with him before the game. He said, and I said, hey, every coach at King spoke so highly of your son. And he said, well, my son's a tough guy. And we just saw in that play, he's all over the field. His dad would have been a great football player, but Don Markham and those guys wanted, monsters. And Dan was a little bit shorter than most.
4th and 8. Johnson pulls it down. He's got the first down and a little bit more inside the 5. Finally, Matthew Tyndall pushes him down. And nothing going there in the air. 24-yard run by Johnson. 1st and goal for Ramona.
Johnson, not the fastest guy, but smart running. Stopped on a dime, got a couple extra yards by that extra juke there.
Under a minute to play in the first quarter, coming down to the end of the quarter. Villarreal up as a fullback and Bruins in the backfield for Ramona. Again, drive started back at the 39. Bruins looking to find the edge, and Bo Bruins saunters into the end zone. Touchdown, Ramona. 2 possessions, 2 scores for the Rams, and Ken Mashinsky wasn't kidding. No wonder they wanted to play last week.
I'll tell you, they were chomping at the bit, and what a way to start your season against a Big 8 team and a crosstown rival. But, man, Ken Mashinsky's reloaded. And there were some question marks after the spring or whatever the short season was in the spring.
Right.
And, Ken and I have talked a lot, and he had some question marks, but those question marks seem to be answered.
Conrado puts it through, and it's 14-0. I mean, so how about that big play? A 25-yard run on 4th down by Nate Johnson sets up the touchdown by Bruins to make it a 14-0 game. And, this is we were talking earlier, and I think talent-wise, Jeff, these two teams are pretty equal. But it's in terms of the continuity and the practice. Jason McMains only took over 7 weeks before the season, and as we discussed, I mean, they've had upwards of 40 players in some form of the protocol over those 7 weeks. He just haven't had the opportunity to get them all on the field.
No, and you got to think he had no weight room work this summer. I mean, there's a lot of things that he wasn't able to do getting this job. But, there's a lot of kids out here playing, and the buy-in seems to be going in the right direction for King High School.
Line dive kick by Conrado. Simley Flores picks it up at about the 8. We saw him last year. He was some kind of player. And Simley Flores over the 30, so about a 25-yard return, maybe 24-yard return, and decent field position to start for King. Their offense will get their second look at it. And we always talk about the defense. Over the years we've talked about Ken Mashinsky on defense, how he runs the defense for Ramona, and they tend to be undersized, but they hustle. They're always fast, and they tackle real well.
That was exactly what I was going to bring up. The point is, we've talked about this since he's been here. His teams are great tacklers, and if there is a missed tackle, the second guy is right there. Very fundamental tactics defensively.
Harrow's back to throw. He's going to look, and it's complete to the 32-yard line, putting his shoulder down and getting over the 40-yard line. Clock will stop, and that's Noah Neal. He's going to be the bell cow for the King offense. Up to the 42-yard line, so the sticks move. First down, 11-yard pickup there.
Nice pass from the youngster.
Brian Hoover to the top of your screen for King. Simley Flores to the near side. Harrows to throw. He's got some time. Now he doesn't. Gets away from the first wave. Put the ball down the field. He's got a man. Complete to Simley Flores. One move, and Flores is in the open field. Flores to the house. 58-yard touchdown. And what a play by the freshman. You can see why Coach McMains wanted to get him on the field.
Man, I mean, just a great play. He was so focused, and we're going to see here probably on the replay. Stayed with the play, found the man wide open, and a perfect throw down the field.
Last play of the fourth quarter, King gets on the board with a big play. And we talk about how well Ramona tackles, but Simley Flores just made him miss, and then it was over. Then it was just on a foot race, and Simley Flores wasn't losing that one.
And we saw it, like you said, last year. We saw his playability. He is very athletic, as we saw.
Through the uprights for Evan Milstead. 14-7, and King right back in this one.
We have a good one here.
2 long drives for Ramona and the big play for King. Now keep in mind the first touchdown set up by a big play for Ramona. So we've seen 2 plays of 50 or more yards. I think that's already more offense than we saw last night, Jeff.
It's that first play was more offensive than we saw last night.
This game's 12 minutes old. We've seen a 58-yard play and a 55-yard play.
And no offense to our guys last night, but I want to see some guys scoring a little bit. So we're getting the defensive bashing last night to the offense right tonight. Kind of fun.
Ken Batdorf was so roughed up emotionally. He's here he had to come see another football game.
He's everywhere. He says he's going to come up to the booth and harass us a little later. In fact, I talked to him last night about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, man, that was a rough one, buddy. Only 7 points. I made fun of him. I don't think that ever happened. It might happen one other time, I think.
Sultana, right?
Yeah, Sultana.
Yeah.
I think everybody's here tonight, though. Look, it's packed.
Nicky Chavez back deep along with Karan Baldwin for Ramona. Milstead. We have two good kickers again, Jeff. You're going to be really happy.
I love it when you have guys that can kick.
Makes the game more interesting. Another kick out of bounds.
I think he wants that one back.
I think Coach Musk is going to take the football.
That's a 35.
I won't tell you who. I do believe one of our kickers tonight is a pacifist.
Is that true?
We'll find out.
Oh, you got to see the pacifist kickers. There's a few, like I said, they're mostly soccer players, aren't they? They're usually the guys who go, "Hey, look, you've got a golden toe, man. You got to come out and play football." And they're usually soccer guys. Are like, "I don't want to tackle. I'd rather eat my lunch in the quad and hang out with my buddies that play soccer."
So Ramona will opt to take the football at the 35. Last time they did this, they scored in, I think, 4 plays. Johnson to Bruins. No, Johnson will keep it on the play fake, and down he goes. There's that man again. Evan Gabriel Simon has been big. He's made a number of big plays for the King defense already in the early going, and now he cramped up. Watch him coming off the field here. But his motor has been on high since we started this one, Jeff.
That was mean. Dude, that was WWE style.
Back to the 26, shades of Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Before there was the Olympic Dream Team, there was Valentine and Beefcake. There was Johnny Valiant's Dream Team. 2nd and 19. Here's the pressure. Screen underneath. Tyndall with the tackle up at about the 33-yard line. Making the catch for the Rams was Emmanuel Vila. So ball back up to the 33. It'll bring up a 3rd and 12. Second quarter underway. Play action. Johnson throwing. Complete to Shiner. Good catch by Shiner for the first down at midfield. He just went up and got it. Into King territory, so about an 18-yard strike from Johnson to Shiner, and they look like they're a pretty good combination, Jeff.
I'll tell you what, man, these two quarterbacks look like all world. You got John Elway on one side, you got Brett Favre on another.
Like that old Steve Young, Jim Kelly matchup at Pierce College.
That's right.
Back in the USFL days, right? A couple of guys who could sling it. First varsity start for both, so I'm impressed early. Shiner made a great catch on that play. He just went and got that one. Bruins right up the gut. Stumbles forward over the 40, about the 38-yard line. 11 more yards, another first down.
And you watch Bruins. Bruins gets hit, but he continues to churn those legs after the hit, and he's going to get a couple extra yards every time just because of his strength in his lower body.
Yeah, Bruins has the look, exactly what you mentioned. He's got the lower body strength, but balance. He's got speed, he's got vision, and he's balanced. You always see him kind of on balance. His parents, both Ramona alums, Jeff. You know him?
I don't, but I do know that there's about 7 or 8 guys on this starting lineup for the Rams that parents have all been alumni.
Another give to Bruins. Bruins left side, over the 30, putting his shoulder down inside the 25-yard line, about the 23. Simile Flores there to help out on the tackle.
I wish I was friends with his family. He's got a great name, though, Bo Bruins. That sounds like a football player.
I'm sure Chip Kelly's already heard of him. Trying to bring him to Westwood.
How awesome would that be?
When he goes on the recruiting visit, you let me know. I'll take him to Enzo's. 1st and 10 from the 24. Bruins running left. Spins up to the 20, fighting through the first tackle. Still on his feet. Surges to the 15-yard line. How about that? Looked like about a 4-yard run, and he got 9, Jeff.
Inertia is carrying him.
But as we talk about balance, is that if you can't knock a guy off balance, it's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, I mean, you say it's perfect. Perfect, I mean, great balance, and he always knows exactly where he is on the field.
So didn't quite get the first down. Here's the handoff to Bruins. No, Johnson will keep it The throw to Valenzuela. Valenzuela dancing at the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Ramona.
That was really a kind of a screen pass there, and it was run perfectly. He had two receivers that crisscrossed after the play. The defenders didn't know who the heck they were guarding. He just went right through them. Perfect play.
Young Jake Valenzuela, Coach Mashinsky talked really well about him. Young sophomore wide receiver would say, you know what, we're going to mix him in with the older guys, and, the focus will be on the older guys, and then Valenzuela will be able to make some plays. Heck, if I'm a defender, I have number 1 circled on my play sheet. I like what I've seen from him so far.
He would be spied on the rest of the game.
And that's what happens when you have multiple playmakers.
Yes.
It makes it just more difficult.
And you have such a great, you're playmaking on the ground with Bruins and those receiving corps. Man, they're pretty tough to stop.
Little movement on the PAT, so they'll restart it. So Johnson and Valenzuela probably played last year together on the JV, so they have a bit of chemistry. First touchdown pass. Congratulations, Nate Johnson. First TD pass of his career. Also, Nicky Valenzuela, first TD reception of his career. It's a low kick, but it's through, and it's 21-7 Ramona, and the Rams putting up some points.
I've been impressed with Ramona so far. We've seen a lot of the teams in the River Valley League. We've seen Hillcrest, we've seen Norte Vista, and we've seen Ramona. All three very good teams, but three different types of teams.
Opened in 1958, Ramona High School, alma mater of not only Jeffrey Gorham, but Mrs. Gorham. Jeff's mom, a Ramona graduate. How about that?
64. Yeah.
Class of 64. Okay.
Yeah. Look at that notable alumni. Gary McCord, Daryl Miller, Eric Shaw.
Eric Shaw later pitched for UC Riverside and later pitched for the Padres in the World Series. 1984 World Series, right against Kirk Gibson and the Tigers. They got to put you in the Hall of Fame, Jeff. I wanted to hold my tongue, but they got to put you in the Hall of Fame.
Everybody else is in my family. That's
Short kick on the turf, little bit of confusion, trying to get to the outside, and the ball pops out. It looks like the Rams had it, and they do have it. Now, do they rule him down is the question. No signal from the officials yet. And yes, Ramona football.
There's that tackling right there.
And it was the kicker, Isaac Conrado, who recovered it.
Not a pacifist.
So obviously not a pacifist, yeah. So that hurts if you're King because, and how about, we'll talk about Ramona a little bit. Coach Mashinsky told us that when the game was canceled last week, the team was just, they were ready to play, and they were devastated. It took a little steam out of them. And after that 14-0 lead, you get the touchdown. King gets the touchdown late in the first quarter. At the last play of the first quarter, did that deflate them? No, they came right down the field, and now they have the ball again.
They took a shot on the chin and came back.
From the 34 of King, it's 1st and 10. Johnson to throw. Little short hop to Shiner, incomplete. Second down coming up.
I was going to tell you that you left somebody off the notable alumni, the great Jim Barnett.
That's right.
Jim Barnett is, I think, believe he does the color for the Golden State Warriors now.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. So the great Jim Barnett. We've had a number of NBA guys, old NBA players. But I'll tell you, Ramona High School, 1958, I still think is the crown jewel of high schools in Riverside as far as the campus itself. Beautiful campus.
2nd and 10, play action. Johnson to throw to the outside. Complete and then incomplete. Good play there by Simley Flores, knocking the ball away. Intended receiver was Emmanuel Villa. Simley Flores, man, he's putting it up on both sides, on offense and on defense.
Got a great name, too. Love the name Simley.
Simley Flores. So 3rd down coming up. Let's see if the King defense can hold. Johnson, here comes pressure. He steps up. Good pressure there and good defense by Tyndall. He went right to Shiner, knocked it down, 4th down. Well, so Nate Johnson has King right where he wants him. Remember, on a 4th and 8 on the other side of the field, he ran 20 yards for a first down. Let's see what happens here. So Valenzuela to the bottom of your screen, Villa to the top of your screen. Far slot is Shiner. Near slot, Daniels. Staring at Ken Mashinsky. Ken Mashinsky calls the offense for the Rams. 5th year at Ramona. He also coached here at King. We'll talk about that as we get deeper into it. Johnson. Pump fake. Gets rid of it. Complete to Bruins. And Bruins, there are 3 blue shirts around him. So the ball over on downs. King's defense plays around the turnover. 4 and out for Ramona. Nice job by the King defense. Javez, Robinson, and Rich Martinez kind of combining. Coach Martinez came over from Citrus Hill, and obviously Coach Martinez was the interim coach last year for King.
And remember, he was also the head football coach at Ramona High School.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a special guest. I think you need to talk to him because I see him all the time.
Okay.
In this place. So I'm gonna take a short break. You're gonna talk to my man here. You can introduce him in 1 sec.
So 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line, coming up for King. Harris gives the ball. Running it is Neal, and Neal still fighting and takes a vicious hit at about the 30-yard line and a couple-yard loss. Ken Batdorf joins us. We talked about Ken. He's the seasoned ferryman of the River Valley League. And, Coach, congratulations first. It was ugly, but you got the win last night.
It was ugly. We got to clean a lot of stuff up. We had 6 fumbles in the entire game, and it's hard to win games, but you know what? Our defense played phenomenally well.
I thought both defenses played well. The Claremont was pretty tough. They were big, and then you guys, in some key situations, played up to the challenge.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm pretty impressed with Ramona right now.
I'll ask you, because you had to play against them. So here's Harris, the freshman, pump fake, rolling. He's under pressure, tries to underhand it, completes it, but not much there as the gain maybe to the 32. Have you ever seen Ramona's line this big? Their line looks like your line all of a sudden.
Shit, they're bigger than we are. We're little. Actually, we were at the end of the game. We were playing so many kids. We had like 3 JV guys having to play for us. But, yeah, I was really impressed when I walked over there in pregame and just saw how big they were. A lot of girth. And Coach Mastinski's doing a great job. You know, fantastic job at Ramona.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, I talked briefly to Coach. I saw Coach Martinez was here downstairs, came with you guys to the game. Your guys' defensive integrity, I mean, there's a lot of things I know you can correct. Your defensive integrity was great last night. Guys did not over-pursue, stayed in their lanes, were able to hold Claremont, who was a pretty good team last year. They were able to hold them in check.
Well, if you look at it, too, Claremont returned a ton of kids, especially on defense.
Right.
And we had a bunch of kids out on defense, so we didn't know how good we were going to be last night.
Mm-hmm.
We threw kids in there, but I got to tip my hat to all the defensive coaches. Coach Martinez, Coach Rawson, Coach Josh, Coach Richie, and Coach Kyle. They did a phenomenal job. And there's certain things that we do every single day. We pursue to the ball. We talk about getting the ball, taking proper angles. We tackle every day. These are the things that people look at us and like, why do you have 11 guys running to a spot? And that's what we do. And they have to take the proper angles to get to that spot.
Right.
So even though we may spend, it looks like conditioning, it's not. It's pursuing to the ball.
Yeah. I mean, and people don't realize, I mean, you know this because you've coached for so many years. The fundamentals are so important in football. People think they're not. They think it's all athleticism and instinct. How important, fundamentally, especially on defense, adhering to those fundamentals?
It's funny you say that. Back, I don't know, about 15 years ago, I was reading a book, and it was written in 1949. And it said, with the invention of the forward pass, there will always be 2 basics in football, blocking and tackling. And I think that holds true today. If you can block and tackle, you're going to win games. And it's just the little things that we coach up afterwards. But if we can block well and tackle well, we're going to win more games than we lose.
By the way, I want to congratulate you. Last night was win number 194. You're closing in on win 200. Now, you're a coach. You're going to say, well, I don't really care. That's got to be something you look at and take some satisfaction. And not only to get the 200 wins or close, but to do them all at one school is pretty impressive nowadays.
Well, I'd be lying if I said I didn't notice.
Harris to throw. Flinging to the outside, a little bit of airmail. Simile Flores goes up high, and it goes over his head on the coverage. Nicky Chavez for Ramona brings up 4th down for King, and they'll have to kick it away.
You know, when I reflect and you talk about 200 wins, and hopefully I get there this year. We'll
Right,
see.
right. 6 more. You need 6 more, Coach.
I know. Hey, we got a lot of opponents who are pretty good football teams.
You do.
But it's not just me. It's how many great kids did I have? How many great coaches did I have?
Right.
You know, like we talk about Andy, what a phenomenal job he's doing, and I've had it for years. But how many phenomenal kids have I had?
Right.
And it adds up. And one thing about us is our kids truly believe in what we're doing. And now I'm starting to coach a lot of kids whose fathers played for me, and that's really special.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, I'm getting the accolades, but it's because of other people.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. The wins tie into that. You know, I was talking to a coach, and he said, you know, somebody asked me if I had a good team, and they said, come back in 15 years. Let me see what these guys have done in college. You said, did you say that to me?
I'm the one that said that to you.
Okay.
You know, and even if they don't go to college, if they're working in the community, they have a good family, they're positive members of our society, then I did a good job. And I still preach that. I had 2 kids come to me during the summer. They got into some trouble. They were on my CIF finals team that should have won it all. Mm-hmm. And I brought that exact speech up. I said, gentlemen, we had a great season, but that doesn't mean we won everything. I'll win when you guys turn your stuff around. And Gorham, I didn't say the other word, and do the right thing.
Right.
And that's a big part.
Here's Anthony Chavez to punt. Puts his foot into it. Nicky Valenzuela back to receive. He'll just let it roll down to the 20-yard line. So it'll be down at the 20. 47-yard kick, no return, and Ramona starts it over.
I love a big punter, man. That kid's almost.
I was going to say that was a big competition last year. Who had the biggest punter? Officially on the roster, he has 300. So I think Mr. Chavez is the biggest kicker we've seen this season so far.
You know what? If he gains 30 pounds, he'll catch Gorham.
Well, let me ask you. So, last question for you, Coach. I often hear from Jeff about what it's like to share an office with you. What's the best thing and the worst thing about sharing an office with my broadcast partner?
You know what? He comes in and makes me laugh.
There you go.
And that's the best thing. I mean, we ride each other, but it's all in good fun. And, you know, that's the thing about life. It's too short to take it too serious.
Coach Ken Batdorf, big win yesterday. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Appreciate the time.
Hey, my pleasure.
Here's the handoff. Nate Johnson gives to Bruins, and he gets over maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Ken Batdorf joining us. Thanks for coming up, Coach. And Jeff Gorham slides back into his seat. Thanks for arranging that, Jeff.
It's always nice talking to old Ken Batdorf. You know, I tried to get him to coach basketball with me. He was almost, if I would have stayed another year, he would have been my assistant coach.
That would have been great.
Because, you know, we shared athletes for so long. He's one of the coaches that, and he got a bad rap, and I'm going to tell you this.
Okay.
After this play, it's pretty impressive, though.
Movement, flag comes in, and they're gonna flag King. They're going to give 5 yards to the Rams.
Well, when I got the head coaching job, everybody around said, and this was no joke, everybody said, oh, he's not good with sharing players. He's not going to give you any guys.
Right.
I said, well, you know, my team, Novi was 0-25 the year before. I think I'll go 0-25 my first year. But the first person that came up to me when I got the job is Ken Batdorf and said, I would love to have you.
Nearly intercepted.
He goes, I'll share athletes with you because I'm a huge weight room guy during the season. Mm-hmm. Ken Batdorf is another weight room guy during the season. And I said, look, I would love to have some of your football players. Give me some of your big linemen, anybody. And I'll tell you what, I had more guys come out for the basketball team because of Ken Batdorf supporting me as a coach at Norte Vista. So, I talk fun about him and make fun, but he's the only guy I know that's completely bought into Norte Vista.
3rd and 7 for Ramona. They lead 21-7. Nate Johnson thrown to the outside. He's got a man. Shiner went up and got it. First down over the 40. Zach Shiner with a clutch catch for the Rams of Ramona. Sticks move up.
That's 2 huge catches from Shiner here in the first half. One last thing I will say to end the whole Ken Batdorf thing. He's so into Norte Vista's young daughter, Brooke, who you met yesterday.
I met Brooke, yeah.
Baby
you call her
Batdorf.
Baby Batdorf.
Baby Batdorf. Ken Batdorf will bring his daughter, and she will be at Norte Vista. And, as a teacher, when you bring your child to your school, it shows that you are all in, and I appreciate that from Ken Batdorf.
From the 45, 1st and 10. This is Shiner in motion. Give to Bruins. Bruins dancing to the right. Now back inside. Little stutter step. Leans forward to midfield. 5 yards on first down. Under 5 minutes to play in the second quarter. 21-7. Rams look pretty much in control. And we were talking with Coach Batdorf about this. I mentioned it to you at the outset of the ball game. How about the size of the offensive line? The big fellas up front for Ramona.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, great line coach with Frank Berber, who's a alumni as well.
Thrown to the outside. This is Villa. And he gets tripped up by Simile Flores after about a yard or two. So it'll be 3rd down coming up. Completion to Villa. Rams were really disappointed a couple years ago. 42-40 loss. The final play of the game, they were stopped going for a 2-point conversion. Johnson, it's complete for a first down. Villa with the completion, just past the marker. So to the 44 of King, move up the sticks. So the Rams moving right along. A drive started back at the 19 of Ramona. The Bruins right up the gut. Now he jitterbugs to the outside. Still on his feet. 30 to the 20 and dragged down inside the 15. Big gainer there for Bo Bruins.
You watch Bruins. I mean, he's so smart with the football. He protects it well. He switches hands when he goes to his right, when he goes to his left. I mean, he's just a smart football player. Like you said, he changes hands.
Down at the 16, 28-yard pickup for Bruins. And in business again is the offense of Ramona.
Impressed with that young man early this season right now. He's looking in midseason form.
Incomplete. One-on-one coverage on the outside. Valenzuela was locked up with Torrey Simmons, and it'll bring up 2nd and 10. And I'm telling you, their offense, Jeff, looks pretty balanced. Johnson looks really comfortable throwing the ball, and obviously the big boys up front moving the bodies around so that Bo Bruins can make some runs.
They look, the best word I'm going to say, they look comfortable.
Yeah. Amari Wiley, Andrew Lopez, Eric Osterhout, Adrian Ledesma, London Lomas. Big 5 for Ramona. Johnson throwing it incomplete. I think he was looking for Shiner on the play. 3rd down. You're probably in 4-down territory here if you're Ramona.
Yes, you are.
Timeout on the field called by Ramona. And Coach Mashinsky has brought, we talked about stability with his staff. Their defensive coordinator, Aaron Berry, had to leave. He took a job at Aquinas. Now, they were trying to get him a teaching job at Ramona. One didn't open up. One opened up at Aquinas. They're a little bit more fluid because they're a private school.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, he didn't want to leave. But, you got to take care of your family, as a lot of people said. And Barry goes there. So now Gabe Guzman is a young guy running the defense for Ramona. And obviously Ken Mashinsky running the offense for the Rams. But part of the continuity is you get your staff together and your staff going. And I know that Coach Mashinsky has lost a couple people off the staff in the last couple of years as well.
Yeah, he has. But he's also had guys that were in this, as coaches that were in the system that really have stepped up. Like I mentioned, Frank Berber, the alumni. The only bad thing about Frank Berber is the guy wears chanclas, or chanclas, is that how you pronounce it? Like flip-flops.
Oh, wow.
Chanclas? I'm horrible at that. But that's all he wears. He's coaching in those things every day. His wife is a head coach. at Riverside City College, the head women's basketball coach. So hello to Alicia, who's watching. Their son Maximus is playing baseball over at Whittier College.
I approve.
Notable alumni at Whittier, Richard Nixon.
Bo Bruins. 4th down, maybe 2 running left.
Or Bo Bridges. I like Bo.
Fabulous Baker Boys, Jeff and Bo. We're kind of like the Fabulous Baker Boys. Actually, no. We're, you know who we are? We're Larry and we're from Larry Sanders Show. We're Hank Kingsley and Larry Sanders. I'm the neurotic one. You're the one who lives robustly. So 31-yard field goal attempts. Shiner will hold. Conrado will try it. 21-7 Ramona leads. Good stand there by the King defense. Looked like Ramona was clicking, but the defense adjusted for the Wolves. Shiner just falls on it as the snap was a little bit off. They don't even get the kick off, and the ball goes over on downs to King. What do you think about this alliance next year between the Southwestern League and the Big Eight? You think that's going to help things any?
I don't. I really don't. I think it's nice to have both of those two leagues kind of be
independent, huh?
Yeah, I like it. I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, it's so since I've been, I first started with Riverside TV in 2012, and since I've been here, it's basically the Big Eight's been, Centennial and Norco, and everybody's playing for third place. Now, when they redid the divisions, I think 2016, I think that helped a lot of teams in the Big Eight.
Yes.
But really, I mean, let's be honest, you're playing for third place.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm not too sure.
And that's no disrespect to any of the teams.
No.
Tom Elite does a great job. Ron Geringer does a great job. Obviously King, when they're good, they have an opportunity. Our friend Scott Morrison does a great job at Santiago. From the 22, Harris throwing to the outside, complete to Simley Flores, but 4 white shirts envelop him, and now it's more like 7. Gets up to about the 23, second down, as the clock continues to move.
Well, we're going to continue this train next week. We have Notre Dame. First time we get to see them. We didn't see them last spring.
We did see them. I thought we saw them once.
I don't believe we did.
I think we saw them against North. We're seeing them against North next week, and I think we did North Notre Dame last year.
And we get to see heard from our dear friend Michael Lara, who was the director of football operations.
The DOFO.
And
And then how about OP Vaipulu, man? It's always good to see him.
Always nice to see
Husky
him.
will be at the doghouse. Husky's barking.
We get to see Vanasio Mekaele. Can't wait to see him. Remember, we saw him as a freshman, and he was jumping over guys, and he was literally about 5'5", but he was built like a truck.
Well, he's knocking guys down.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Always fun to be over North. Always fun to be at King. I saw Michael West, who's the principal at King, earlier today. Said hello to us both, and I got the opportunity to cover his son. His son Kevin was a pretty good athlete here. He pitched at UCR, played on the UCR baseball team. Just finished his EMT training, and he is starting the Firefighter Academy in February.
Nice.
So, that's a great story. So here's a kid, plays after sports at King, then he goes off, plays his 4 years at UC Riverside. Now he's going to come back and help the community.
That's great. That is just fantastic. And Chip George, vice principal, his son is playing for King High School, sophomore. Robert George, number 43.
Second down. Here's the pressure. Harris gets out of it. He's a good playmaker. You can see that. Out of bounds. He's forced out about the 24-yard line. Making the play there was Joseph Martinez for Ramona. Clock will stop with just about over 2 minutes to play here on the first half. Ghazal Hassan and Jeff Gorham with you. Thanks for joining us. Friday night edition of the high school football game of the week. The whole crew is here. Jeff, myself, our award-winning Riverside TV crew. Jaron Harris throws to the outside, and that time incomplete. He's trying to connect with Torrey Simmons. 4th down. So what do you think here for Ramona? As we'll see our good friend Anthony Chavez kick it away. Back deep to receive for the Rams, Jordan Daniels.
Yeah, I think if you're Ramona, you got to try to get a quick score here before halftime. Pull out all the stops.
Ramona started with the football, so King gets the ball to start the second half. And Chavez, big guys kicking. I love it. Punt bounces at about the 47 and skips back, takes a King bounce out of bounds at the 36. So a 41-yard kick, no return, and it'll be Ramona football at the 36-yard line. So they'll put it at the 35-yard line, 42-yard kick, and Ramona will start it up. Give me a quick assessment of Nate Johnson, Jeff.
I think he's done a phenomenal job for being his first time at the helm. Like you said, I think he has command of the team. They've got confidence in him. But I'm really happy with this poise. In the backfield, he just seems to own that spot. Confident young man.
Minute 49 to play. Here's the give to Bruins. Bruins dancing through a couple of tackles up to the 44-yard line. 9-yard pickup, and a flag comes in on the play.
But I want to say it's probably from his mom's trait. Because, we know Ken, but Ken's wife is really nice. And she seems a lot more under control than Ken, I would imagine. So maybe he gets that poise in the pocket from his mom.
Penalty against Ramona, so that entire play will come back. Penalty marches it back to the 26-yard line.
Did you know his mom worked for Riverside TV at one time?
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that,
Yeah.
Jeff. Yeah. So 1st and 19 coming up. First down up to the 45. Move it back after the hold. So now they would have to go to the air. Johnson loading it up, going down the field for Valenzuela, who reeled it in and then had it knocked away. Torrey Simmons on the defense for King. Good one-on-one matchup. Johnson put it right there, but Simmons makes a clutch play for King to knock it away, and it's second down.
Yeah, perfect pass.
And that's a bit of a combination. Already a touchdown catch on the game for young Jake Valenzuela, the sophomore who's starting. He's a little bit like, from what Ken Mashinsky said, a 3-year starter for Ramona who graduated in the spring, Adrian Monhay. He compared Jake Valenzuela to Monhay a little bit.
Oh, Monhay was an excellent player.
Monhay was like a football Monet because he was so artistic. Here's the drop-off to Bruins, and Bruins dragged down from behind at about the 30-yard line. Gabriel Simon again Evan Gabriel Simon again on the tackle. He's been all over the field. Defensive end, but he's playing sideline to sideline. Timeout on the field at minute 20 to play. Great to be back calling high school football with you as the summer kind of wanes into its final days. Labor Day weekend next weekend.
Now, is it summer waning? Because it doesn't feel like it's waning.
Well, temperature-wise, it's not. But I'm just saying calendar-wise.
Yeah,
we're almost to September.
Yeah. I want to say that I think Ken's wife, Jennifer Mashinsky, I believe.
Jennifer, okay.
And worked, she came out to me and she goes, I worked with Pep. And I said, what? I worked with Pep with Riverside TV.
Pep Fernandez?
Pep Fernandez.
Or as little is it Johnny or Luke calls him Fernando's?
Fernando's, Pep
Yeah.
Fernando's. All my kids now, my wife calls him Pep Fernando's.
Oh, okay. We miss Pep here on Riverside TV. He does his thing.
In San Bernardino.
Inland Empire Media Group. They're doing a show tonight?
From his house, I believe, because they're still under COVID protocols out in San Bernardino. So
If you want to get the wrap tonight, IEMG, tune in for Pep Fernandez. I think 11 o'clock, right?
11
He has all the
p.m.
highlights.
Yeah, we can see what background he's using in his house tonight.
3rd and 14. Play action. Johnson to the air. Looking down the field. Daniels with the catch. First down into King territory at the 45-yard line. 24-yard pickup. Great pitch and catch. Johnson to Daniels.
Daniels took a shot absolute shot when he caught the ball. That's a couple big plays by that young man today.
Johnson just threw a dime there, just right to Daniels. Small window, but he got it in there, and the clock continues to move, closing in on a minute to play in the first half. Little RPO. He's going to try to run is Johnson, and he'll go down. I think he thought he had somebody downfield. Shackelford finally brings him down right around the 44, so the clock continues to move. Perhaps should have gotten rid of that one. 2 timeouts left for the Rams. Not sure why they're not calling one here. And somebody called one. Well, I guess they didn't. Clock continues to move. Johnson down the field. Daniels with a catch. At the 10, still on his feet, down at the 4. How about Daniels with the catch? Clock stops. 20 seconds to play in the first half. 40-yard pickup.
I mean, that was better than the last throw. I mean, that was perfect. Between 3 different King defenders. Mush, you should have started your son 2 years ago. He's phenomenal.
And now Ramona calls timeout with 11 seconds to play. They'll have 1 timeout remaining. You know, sometimes you let, if you know the play that's coming, you got to let the play develop. And I learned that from the old Aquinas coach who was at Grace Brethren a couple years ago, Josh Henderson.
Oh, great coach.
He won a playoff game because he kind of let the clock run because he knew how the defense played. He's like, I didn't want to call timeout because I didn't want to bail the defense out, and he had a 4-year starter quarterback. So he said, I had all the faith in my quarterback that he knew the time, he knew how to manage the time, and they ended up getting a touchdown to win the game. But he said, I did not want to give the defense a break.
And we've seen coaches who can do the complete opposite.
Right. Well, I mean, hey, if the clock doesn't work to your favor, it's one thing. But if you have a strategy. So Josh Henderson's strategy was, hey, I'm not bailing the defense out.
No.
My offense is going to run it. I'm not going to bail them out. And that seems like what Coach Mashinsky did that last two plays. Johnson to Bruins. Bruins is stopped. The ball comes loose, but he was down. And they'll stop the clock using their last timeout with 4 seconds to go. So by preserving the timeout, Coach Mashinsky was able to run a run play down inside here. Now, it didn't work out. Now he has one more play, and I believe the field goal unit's coming on for Ramona.
Get points. That's what we always say. Get as many as you can get.
But obviously they had that figured out, 3 minutes ago. They're like, okay, we want to make sure that last timeout's there for the field goal team, and here you go. I mean, every fan's going to say, oh, you got to go for the touchdown, but
no.
Hey, there's 24 minutes to play, remember. So 21-7 Ramona.
And try to get yourself a 3-touchdown cushion. Smart football.
Hold down. Kick is up. Good distance. And it's right through the middle. 24-7. So end of the first quarter, we get a score. The touchdown by King. End of the second quarter, we get a score. The field goal, 22-yard field goal off the foot of Isaac Conrado.
And what a pleasant half of football. I mean, overall, man, just great, 2 good teams playing right now. But very surprised how poised and organized Ramona High School looks.
Yeah, they were really ready to play last week against Corona. Kind of got the rug pulled out from under them. Corona could not play due to COVID protocols, and they were really disappointed to lose their first game. Now, they're going to make that game up on September 24th. That's the only game, only week that both teams had open. But right now, halfway through the opener, 24-7, Ram High over King. Give me some thoughts on your alma mater. You got to be happy. You got to have a big smile on your face.
I'm always smiling when I see Ram High, but I'm really, really impressed with the offensive calling of Ramona. And Nathan Johnson, Bo Bruins, and Daniels have just been phenomenal offensive threats. Great weapons on the ground and in the air, and a poised quarterback who's making perfect decisions.
What I've been most impressed with about Johnson is he's got a number of different targets. You know, he went to Vila, they went to him. He got a touchdown pass to Valenzuela, 2 big connections to Jordan Daniels. Zach Shiner's been big. So he's got he's spreading the ball around. He's being a little bit democratic. He's feeding each of those guys. And then obviously you got the big hammer in the back pocket, Bo Bruins, who's running the football very well. And that's why Ramona's got the 24-7 lead here at the half. We'll step away and come back with the second half for you. 24-7 Ram High over King. It's the CIF High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Ghazal. He's Jeff. We'll be back with the second half momentarily.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items, I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver. And now that the City of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I wanted to because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be it's perfect.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD for a traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main Cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431.
And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
Today is our very first building of a Little Free Pantry. We are building a Little Free Pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside. Data is telling us now that 1 in 6 families are hungry. It's about 44% of adults and about 50% of children that are hungry here within our own neighborhood, in our own backyard.
Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of hunger out there. There's a lot of families in need, and we hope that this will act as a bridge until families are able to get the food that they need. I think that there are always those times where we are living paycheck to paycheck and we need just a few cans of something to get us by. So these little pantries will serve in that capacity, and we're really excited to see something that will help families in need.
And this has been a wonderful collaboration with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network, IEHP, here at Sandals Church, and the City of Riverside. So this has been a fantastic opportunity for community members to step up and to fill a real void in our city, which is food insecurity. So the idea is that if one of these free little pantries in your neighborhood, you could stock it as frequently or as infrequently as you want to. And the idea behind it is that when people have extra food, it doesn't go to waste.
These pantries are just kind of the first step, right, for reintroducing neighbors back to each other, getting folks involved in taking care of each other again, and just strengthening those community bonds that Riverside is so known for. Because things like food drives and food distributions, they're really good, but they only help folks in that moment of need. And we wanted to create something that would continue giving back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and really allow the community to get back into taking care of each other, instead of maybe relying on, just government or nonprofit structures to kind of take care of them.
If others want to follow suit, they can apply at riversideca.gov/cares as an application, or they can email us at neighbor@riversideca.gov to receive an application to host a little free pantry in their neighborhood.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items, I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver. And now that the City of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I wanted to because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be it's perfect.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD, road traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431. And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help, so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women but want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
Today is our very first building of a little free pantry. We are building a little free pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside. Data is telling us now that 1 in 6 families are hungry. It's about 44% of adults and about 50% of children that are hungry here within our own neighborhood, in our own backyard.
Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of hunger out there. There's a lot of families in need, and we hope that this will act as a bridge until families are able to get the food that they need. I think that there are always those times where we are living paycheck to paycheck and we need just a few cans of something to get us by. So these little pantries will serve in that capacity, and we're really excited to see something that will help families in need.
And this has been a wonderful collaboration with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network, IEHP, here at Sandals Church, and the City of Riverside. So this has been a fantastic opportunity for community members to step up and to fill a real void in our city, which is food insecurity. So the idea is that if one of these free little pantries in your neighborhood, you could stock it as frequently or as infrequently as you want to. And the idea behind it is that when people have extra food, it doesn't go to waste.
These pantries are just kind of the first step, right, for reintroducing neighbors back to each other, getting folks involved in taking care of each other again, and just strengthening those community bonds that Riverside is so known for. Because things like food drives and food distributions, they're really good, but they only help folks in that moment of need. And we wanted to create something that would continue giving back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and really allow the community to get back into taking care of each other instead of maybe relying on, just government or nonprofit structures to kind of take care of them.
If others want to follow suit, they can apply at riversideca.gov/cares as an application, or they can email us at neighbor@riversideca.gov to receive an application to host a little free pantry in their neighborhood.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items, I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver. And now that the City of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I wanted to because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be perfect.
Back in Orange Crest, 24-7 the score at the half. Ramona leads King. I'm Ghazal. He's Jeff, back for the Friday night edition of the high school football game of the week. It's been fun, buddy. We were out last night over at Norte Vista. Now we're over here at King, and we're watching another River Valley League team, Ramona, and they look pretty good. We didn't have much scoring yesterday, Jeff. We were making up for it here tonight.
Oh, it's been fun tonight, but yeah, it is great being back calling these high school football games. I would call a game every single night if they had them. I enjoy this more than almost anything in the world. But, man, we've seen the River Valley, the top 3 teams supposedly in the River Valley League. It's going to be fun this season, don't you think?
Absolutely. First quarter, about 10-17 to go. It was quick. A 65-yard drive culminated in a run, a 1-yard run by Bo Bruins, and the big play setting it up was a 55-yard completion to Jordan Daniels, and Daniels done a great job today for Ramona. We'll get to more of that a little bit later. Then another drive, a 61-yard drive this time, culminating in a 2-yard run by Bo Bruins. That ended up at 43.5 seconds to go in the first quarter. Then the final play of the first quarter, kickoff goes to King, a 58-yard strike from the freshman quarterback, Jaron Harris, to Julian Shipley Flores for a touchdown. What a run he had at the end, did Elijah Simley Flores to make the touchdown to make it a 14-7 ball game. And then Ramona got the ball back, a 15-yard pass, first touchdown pass of his career for Nate Johnson. He completes it to the young fella, another sophomore, Jake Valenzuela. And then the final play of the second quarter, the field goal by Isaac Conrado. It's a 23-yarder for Ramona to make it a 24-7 game. About to start the second half here. King gets the ball back. First question I want to ask you, we've talked a lot about Nate Johnson. What have you thought about the young freshman for King, Jaron Harris? He's been pretty good too.
He's been just as well. I mean, it's nice when you have a freshman that can really kind of lead a team. McMains has himself a guy for the next 4 years. Got to be happy with that. Like I said, both quarterbacks I thought played with great poise in the pocket and didn't seem rattled. They found their receivers at the right times, and they've made perfect throws at great moments.
You know, and again, we talked about this yesterday. We talked about it last week. Coaches really know their teams, right? You know, we talked to Coach Mashinsky. He told us before the game, hey, we were ready to rock and roll last week. We were really disappointed when we didn't play. Well, they're showing that this week. They played pretty well in the first half. You know, talking to Jason Maine, he said, you know, I think we're going to be ready, but right now we're playing from behind a little bit just because we haven't had all the guys on the field at the same time to be able to develop any kind of chemistry or any kind of continuity. And we saw the guys who played last year seem like they're the most fluid right now. You know, Elijah Simley Flores, we saw him live, pretty good. So he's picked up right where he left off. Other guys need a little bit more time to get going. I've liked, you know, what little I've seen from Noah Neal has been pretty good, but I don't think he's simply ready at this point in terms of reps.
Yeah, exactly. And the big thing I would say with Coach McMains and King is, you know, 7 weeks is not much to deal with.
No.
And learning a new system after a season that ended at the end of the school year. So very tough on these young men, but I think they've handled it pretty darn well considering the short amount of time they practiced.
Simley Flores back deep with Torrey Simmons for a King, and here's the squib kick. They're going to try to keep it away from the playmaker, Simley Flores. This is scooped up by King by Marcus Harper at about the 30-yard line. He'll get up to the 33, and that's where King will start their offense here in the second half. So it's a 24-7 lead for Ramona. A lot of football to play, Jeff, but the Ramona offense looks pretty good. Let's see if King can put up a drive here. Jaron Harris back out to run the offense, the true freshman playing quarterback for King.
Yeah, let's see if, Coach McMain saw anything on that Ramona defense that he can attack. But I'll tell you what, Ram High played a pretty solid 24 minutes in that first half.
From the 33, play action. Throw to the outside. It's complete to the 42. Toe tap up to about the 45. Tackle on the play made by Joseph Soto. Ball completed to Brian Hoover. So Hoover makes the reception, picks up about 9. Actually, they'll give him the forward progress, and he'll move the sticks. So call it a 12-yard pickup to the 45. McPherson in the far slot. Cooper to the bottom of your screen. Knoll takes it right up the gut into the teeth of the defense. Still driving up to midfield. About 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6. Hoover to the bottom of the screen in the near slot, McPherson. Simley Flores to the top of your screen. Knoll, again, driving it forward to about the 43-yard line. He's got a first down.
Some good strength from Knoll there. Bringing down almost every Ram. A pride of Rams? Would it be a pride?
Good question. What is the group of Rams called? I think it's a herd, right?
A herd, yeah, I guess it'd be a herd.
Now Coach McBain's working between the tackles. Haros back to throw. To the outside. Did he catch it? We're a little bit blind that he did catch it. Nice catch at about the 35-yard line. That's Brian Hoover.
You got to like that. Throw to a spot. Make him go get it.
– 44-yard line of Ramona. They said he didn't catch it. So 2nd and 10 coming up. Nice effort by Brian Hoover regardless. Dayton Ford shuffling in. And on both sides of the field, offense and defense, Coach McBain's told me, because what you mentioned, only 7 weeks of preparation, a lot of COVID protocol, he's going to rotate a lot of different guys in. A lot of guys are playing both ways, but they're going to rotate positions to keep it fresh. Throw to the outside. That's complete to Ford. Ford to the 40, to the 35, still dragging and down near the 30-yard line. Another first down for King.
And there's a penalty. It's going to be a late hit out of bounds here, so they're going to tag on more on that play.
They'll probably go to the 15-yard line. Probably a 15-yard mark-off. So a nice drive coming out here in the second half by King.
So great adjustments.
Down 24-7, and the young freshman, Jaron Harris, got his feet wet in the first half. They probably asked him, hey, what are you feeling? How you doing? And he kind of told them what he's comfortable with and what he's not, and they're working on him getting the ball out of his hands quickly. And as Jeff mentioned, there's some yardage going to be tacked on with a late hit after that one. So the ball moves down to the 16-yard line. Half the distance on the personal foul. So Noah Neal, the lone setback. This is Dayton Ford in motion. Elijah Simley Flores to the top of the screen. Harrow swings it out of the backfield to Neal. Catch at the 20. He's lit up immediately. First man there for Ramona was Michael Michaelides. Got help afterwards from Desmond Watkins and a short gain for King. So they move backwards on that one, Jeff. And when we were talking with Ken Batdorf, Marcus Perez, the big nose tackle for Ramona, went off the field. He's not returned here in the second half. Here's the throw to the outside. In and out of the hands of Torrey Simmons, incomplete. Joseph Soto on the coverage for Ramona.
You got to like the confidence. He's throwing it at his target with 3 defenders on him. You've got to be impressed by that young man. Some guys would be scared to throw that.
Great confidence by the young quarterback for a King.
They've got themselves a gem there.
So this is Zypher Schenkenberg in the near slot. And again, incomplete. Intended receiver on the play was Jaden Mosley for King. 4th down coming up. So the defense bends a little bit for the Rams, but yet to break. It's 4th down here. I'm guessing this is 4-down territory as they're inside the 20.
Like a fine bamboo.
So 1st down would be inside the 8 for the Rams. Let's see what kind of play McBains can draw up. He's pretty good in these situations usually, Jeff.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of trick plays when he was at Notre Dame.
So watch that line split on the right side. A little bit of a gap there. Harrows to throw. Here comes the pressure. Looking downfield to the end zone, and it's a touchdown. No, it's incomplete. How about that? Couldn't hold it on the way down. Pass intended for McPherson. Couldn't hold it. Thought he had it. Now, I thought once you get your feet down, it's a touchdown, but I guess you got to bring it all the way in, and the ball goes over on downs to Ramona. Another look at the play. Throws it downfield. Goes up. And he didn't bring it in. He didn't bring it. Good attempt, though. Pretty close. And it'll be Ramona football. 9:05 to play in the 3rd quarter. Play action Johnson. Looking down the field. In and out of the hands of Vila. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, Vila's wants that one right back. That was it hit him in a bad spot. Right in the hands.
His hands, yeah. Well, and it's interesting because King, I believe, has the same situation as Ramona. Ramona, we mentioned, they got 4 pretty good playmakers on the outside. So does King. Obviously, the offense not quite there yet in terms of the installation. But once they're able to install it, they'll be pretty dangerous too. Johnson with the option. Throws to the outside. Valenzuela drops it. 3rd and 10. So 2 drops on Johnson.
And pretty good passes and a great screen there. Might have gone for some great yardage. Just dropped the ball.
Now, it's early, to be fair. Ramona hasn't played a game yet either. They probably were running on emotion and adrenaline for a lot of that first half. You go into the locker room, you sit for a little bit, and kind of the wind comes out of the sails a bit, but you've got to get back up and going. A lot of football left here. 3rd quarter, 8:53 to play. Ramona 24, King 7. Johnson looking downfield. Looking for Vila, and over the back, making the play. Elijah Simley Flores. You can go over the back in this sport. It's totally legal, Jeff.
What was that? I'm sorry.
In this sport, you can go over the back.
You can't go over the back. Not
another sport that we cover. You can't. That's a penalty.
You cannot.
In fact, they encourage it in this sport. So here's Conrado to punt, and a good stand by the defense for King. And Simley Flores at midfield to receive the kick. Ramona up big. Low snap. Here's the kick. Veering to field it is Simley Flores. We'll just let it bounce. And it'll roll at about the 43-yard line, and that's where it'll be down. 38-yard kick, no return. So from the 43 is where King starts it. They trail 24-7. Trying to get some points here in the 3rd quarter. They scored the last play of the 1st quarter, and that's it. 14 points in the 1st quarter for Ramona, 10 in the 2nd quarter. 7 in the 1st for King, none in the 2nd. We're in the 3rd quarter here. Martin Luther King High, Ghazal Hassan, and Jeff Gorham with you, along with our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew. Ken Batdorf helped us out.
He came up. Yeah, there's a bunch of coaches. I've seen all kinds of guys walking around the bleachers here tonight. Guys on the sideline.
A penalty is going to be marched off against King. Ray Reyes making the signal. He is the law in these parts, Jeff.
He is. They gave us a nice laminated card with their names on it. Now, most of the time it's just handwritten. These guys are with it.
Ball moves back to the 33-yard line, so a 10-yard mark off on the illegal block for King. And Jaron Haros, the quarterback, he is a freshman 9th grader starting for King. We've seen a rash of that in recent years here in Southern California. He'll load it up, throw to the outside, and it's complete to the 40-yard line for about a 7-yard pickup. Elijah Simley Flores with the catch. Nicky Chavez on the coverage. We saw him last year. Chavez, a big-time playmaker in the defensive secondary for Ramona.
Yeah, we called his name quite a bit last year.
Didn't he have a pick six?
He did have a pick six. You are correct. Yes.
The big fella in the middle replacing Marcus Perez for Ramona, Michael Quintero, an 11th grader, 250-pound junior. Here's the give.
So you replace one jumbo with another jumbo.
Neal leans forward. He's got a first down. Well, they're dropping about 40 pounds because Mr. Perez checks in at about 290.
I did see Perez go down, and hopefully he's okay. Took him a while to get off the field.
And he did walk off by himself, right? They had to help him. They had to kind of limp off. So you just hope it's nothing that's that serious.
But he looked like he was made of granite. That's just a solid, tough guy. I hope he is okay.
I don't see him on the sideline because usually if they're hurt, especially they'll come back on crutches. We'll hopefully get an update on that. We'll go down to J.R. Ibarra wherever he is. Play action, flare to the outside. McPherson catches the ball, traverses into Ramona territory, bought down at about the 42-yard line, making the tackle Joseph Soto. And Jack McPherson, who you're buddies with his dad.
Yeah. Tough guy.
14-yard pickup there.
Every coach at King had wonderful things to say about McPherson.
Playing two ways, so obviously he's impressed Jason McMains.
Went to high school, like I said, with his dad. His dad was tough. Was a good football player. But he played for Markham, and Markham had only played, I think there was only like 13 guys in the team.
First down play. Swing pass out of the backfield to Shackelford. And Shackelford sweeps up to about the 41, where he's forced out of bounds, so maybe 3 yards on the play. Soto again around the football. Got some help on the play from Desmond Watkins.
A personal foul on the play.
So roughing the passer on the Rams. That'll move it up 15, so it'll be to the 29-yard line. Keep in mind, last time King got in the red zone and they were turned away on 4 downs.
Yeah, if you're Ramona, you can't be happy with those kind of penalties. So much time left here in the third quarter. You got to be smarter than that.
25-yard line instead. I misspoke. I think I said 29. Shackelford running left. Finds some space. Stumbles forward. Dives inside the 10-yard line. So a nice run off left tackle for Chase Shackelford. Ball just inside the 10, so a 15-yard pickup, first and goal.
As we watch the replay, the big boys up front really open that hole.
A rotation working up front for Coach Jason McMains. Shackelford again. This time he's greeted fairly rudely, and he's pushed back. The big boys up front for the Wolves. Matt Tyndall, Simone Gray, Aiden Ruedas, Jacob Cook, Jake Holland, Kenny Felt also in that mix. He'll rotate in when needed, and it looks like we have another Ram down, which you never like to see. Already lost one lineman. This is Javier Castaneda, the defensive end, 6'4", 230 pounds, but he looks to be walking out under his own power. He's limping a little bit.
Looks like he has a hoof issue. Well, cramping. That's what it is. And we talked, last night, everybody seemed to have cramp. Because I was cramping in the booth last night. Oh, man alive.
2-yard loss on the play, so it's a still a second and goal, it's just from the 12. The sticks are nowhere to be seen because there's nowhere to get a first down. Just a touchdown.
I'm concerned for the mascots of King. They've been wearing those suits quite a while. They better have fans or ice in there.
Simley Flores up top, Ford in the far slot, McPherson in the near slot, Hoover to the bottom of your screen. Noah Neal, the tailback for King. Second and goal. and movement up front. Let's see who they got. Going to go against the Rams. How about that? They'll move the ball inside the 10 to the 7.
So a couple costly mistakes here on this drive by Ramona's defense.
The roughing penalty.
Yeah.
And then here we go. 5 more yards on the penalty side. I mean, 120 penalty yards last night for Novi, too. We didn't discuss that with Coach Batdorf. Probably better that we didn't. Throw to the outside. Went up high, did McPherson, incomplete. Couldn't come down with it, 3rd down. Talking about penalties with Batdorf is like playing chess with a Wookiee. You know. Remember that part?
Yes.
C-3PO, let the Wookiee win. Coaches don't like to hear about penalties, Jeff.
No, because it means their guys were ding-dongs.
3rd down and goal. Harros gives to Neal. He's got some space. And Neal driven down at about the 3.
Yeah, but see, I think Batdorf probably had a lot of penalties when he played. He's kind of a gruff guy.
Baldwin on the hit along with Desmond Watkins. So 4th down and goal coming up. And timeout called by King. Jason McMains wants to talk it over. You mentioned in the open, McMains' last 2 years head coach at Citrus Hill. 2 years before that, he was an offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Then he was a couple of years was the head coach at Carnegie, which is now called, I believe, Riverside Christian. And then from 2009 to 2014, he had a pretty good run at Rubidoux.
He did with the dough. But, he started his career. He started at Harupa Valley, and I worked together. And he's just one of those guys. He's a football nerd. He's always thinking football. And I'll tell you, this job, I think, is the perfect job for him. He's been in a few places. But I think he's going to fit well here at King High School.
Steve Johnstone, offensive coordinator for King, started out at Ontario. He was at Ontario when Coach McMains was at Rubidoux. That's how they kind of got to know each other over the years, and brought him over when they were at Notre Dame. He wasn't doing anything. He said, "Coach, come hang out, come work with us." So 4th and goal. Let's see what they have drawn up. Neal, the tailback. McPherson in motion. Give to Neal. Neal veers to the right side. Did he get in? They say he did not get in. Goal line stand for Ramona.
Great call, though, offensively. They're just a little short. Everybody keyed on McPherson, and just to sneak in there, just didn't get right past that defensive line of the Rams.
Yeah, the big boys dug in for Ramona up front. Nice job, particularly in the middle there. Michael Quintero kind of holding his ground a little bit, allowing the linebackers to fly in and make the hit. And it'll be – now let's see. We had this happen a couple of weeks ago, and it worked out well for the team that got stopped. So let's see what Ramona does. Now Ken Mashinsky, his new quarterback, has got to work out of the shadow of his own goalpost from the 1-yard line. Running outside, this is Bruins. He gets some breathing room. He's to the 5, a little juke step, and finally pulled down. So he gets to the outside and is tackled by Torrey Simmons. So 2nd and 5 coming up. This is where vision is so important, Jeff, for Bruins. 24-7 Ramona. 2 stops by the Rams defense inside the 21, right on the doorstep, Jeff.
Ram high. See if they can capitalize on that great defensive stand.
Valenzuela to the bottom of your screen. They'll give to Bruins. Bo's got the first down. He's over to the 13-yard line. So give him 7 on that one. You know, we talked about it in the open. This is a bit of a renewal of acquaintances.
Yeah, that's
These
right.
teams haven't played since 2013, but between 2001 and 2013, they played 11 times, 7 times won by King. You know, King didn't open until 1999, so I believe 2001 was the first varsity season for King. from the 13. 1st and 10. Those are all the scores you're seeing. And Bruins goes down. How about that? Nice play in the backfield by Mr. Cook makes the play. Jacob Cook in the backfield. So ball goes back to the 10-yard line. I love the history of schools in the city, Jeff.
Yeah, King's hasn't been around long, but they've had a pretty nice history.
Throw to the outside, complete. This is Jordan Daniels hurdling forward, close to a first down. I think got to about the 21. It'll bring up a 3rd and 2.
Well, you remember the first principal at Martin Luther King was Ray Plutko, who ran the CIF at one time. You know,
is that Adam's dad or grandfather? It's Adam's grandfather.
Yeah,
right.
and Ray Plutko, a Ramona guy himself, came out here, became the principal. The first year in existence, the boys basketball team went out and won the state championship under Marvin Lee.
Now, I know his son, Greg. I'll tell you, it's an interesting story. 3rd and 1 coming up. Bruins with the carry, first down. He traverses over to the 26. 5-yard pickup on the play. Sticks will move up. I was covering college baseball, so Greg's son, Adam, now pitches for the Baltimore Orioles. He was pitching at UCLA. It was a regional.
Yeah.
And regionals there, they give you a press credential, but at the time, because it's in L.A., parking was limited. They couldn't get me a parking credential. So I had to kind of walk up to into the VA grounds and get to the press box. Car pulls up behind me, says, "Get in." And it was Greg Plutko. He was driving to watch his son play, and he gave me a ride into the parking lot.
Oh, that's great.
Little change of pace. This is Varial running all the way up to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, but talking about when King came into existence, they really did a great job. They brought in Ray Plutko as the principal, but they also brought in a legend, Tony Macy.
That's
who
right.
was a longtime basketball coach and athletic director at Ramona High School.
He was the AD here for a little bit, right?
He was brought on with Plutko. So you had Tony Macy, who was a legend from Ramona, and you had Ray Plutko, who was a Notre Dame guy at one time as well, I believe the principal at Notre Dame.
1st and 10. Here's the give to Bruins. Twisting up to the 48 from the 45. 3 yards on first down brings up 2nd and 7.
But I think that's where that success came from. They did it from within the city of Riverside. Tony Macy, the brother of the longtime
John Macy.
John Macy, legends. And they turned Macy was here for a long time, but they turned it over to a dear friend of mine, Chip George, who's now the athletic director, assistant principal. So the school has always been in great hands from the administration. Great principal here now. So
timeout on the field. They gave him 2 yards, so 2nd and 8 coming up. The first couple of years that King played, they played in the Sunkist, and Ramona was in the Sunkist.
That's right.
And then Ramona moved to that Ivy League, and then King eventually joined them in the Ivy League in 2006, and then eventually Ramona moved to the Inland Valley before they moved to the River Valley, and King obviously settled in the Big 8 and has been there ever since, which is interesting because, the fight is because of football, right? We talked about it earlier. You're playing for 3rd place. People say, well, why don't you just move King out of the Big 8? Well, the problem is all the other sports compete in the Big 8.
Exactly.
And just football, it's not even about them. It's more about Centennial and Corona. As Bruins gets the handoff, I think there was a little miscommunication there. Wasn't quite sure if you wanted to keep it. Johnson would keep it or hand it off, and dropped at the line of scrimmage is Bruins, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 8. But those are all interesting questions you can talk about. I'm sure you've heard it for years. Oh, why don't you just switch King and Rancho Verde? Oh, what does that do for King baseball or King softball or King soccer,
Or golf.
Right. Ticking down to the end of the 3rd quarter here. It's a 3rd down for King from the 46. Throwing. Tipped, incomplete. Vila was the intended receiver. Simile Flores looks like he's cramped up now. He was the defender on the play. He kind of crumbles down to the ground. and he may have a cramp. So 25 seconds to play in the third quarter. But I mean, you grew up here, so I'm sure it's really compelling to you. And I'm just reading about this stuff, and I just find it really, really interesting how these schools kind of there was an all Riverside League at one point, Riverside League at one point, but now there's so many schools in Riverside you can't have them all in one league.
Yeah, the original Ivy League, which was started here in Riverside, was, and we're talking early 70s.
Right, this is way back.
Yeah,
right.
and it was Norta Vista, Ona, Poly, North, and Arlington.
Yeah.
And that was, telling you, it was every single game was phenomenal in the 70s because it was strictly Riverside.
Yeah.
So you would have, tonight there's a great crowd here, and I'm sure we can get some video. We've seen it tonight. Games, it was a social event.
Right.
And it's nice to see these two old friends, as you say, get together and battle it out because it does bring a sense of community. I hope everybody comes out and watches high school football in Riverside again.
Conrado with the punt on 4th down. Torrey Simmons picks it up at about the 20-yard line. He'll try to make something happen with it. And he makes a move, and he gets outside, and he gets some yardage on it. 34-yard kick, and the return up to the 36-yard line, so a 16-yard return. And King now with about 12 seconds to play in the third quarter will have an opportunity. They're down 17, but again, plenty of time to go. There's 12 minutes to play in this one. And that's the funny thing is joking around with you how Ramona and Poly was the rivalry. And then now it's North and Poly. But my friend who went to North was telling me, when he was about he and you were about the same age, and he said, we just kind of started to play Poly when I got there because for a long time Poly and North didn't play because Poly was playing the big boys and North hadn't quite gotten to that big boy status.
That's true. And I'll tell you what, I could write a history of the story of high school sports in Riverside and just the intermingling of so many people that have been at all of our schools here in the Riverside School District.
From the 35. Harris trying to make something happen. He'll throw it to the outside. It's complete. Putting his head down and making the play as Hoover gets up to midfield. So a 15-yard pickup. Nice job by Harris, kind of taking a page out of Nate Johnson's book and making it happen. David Hoover with the reception doing a nice job. Brian Hoover doing a nice job on the reception and the run after catch.
But that ball's going to come back. There was a hold in the backfield.
Don't tell Ken Batdorf.
No.
He was upset about the holding calls.
Yes, he was.
He didn't mention it on the air, but when we were talking to him in the parking lot, he's a little steamed.
He was steamed last night when I talked to him.
Yeah, he was steamed about the whole game with the holding call. Then the coach will go watch the film and say, that's not a hold, that's a hold. Okay, that's a hold. That's not a, they'll go through it.
Yeah, am I bad to badger him and make fun of him?
Oh, you're great to badger him.
I badger him. I had him reeling last night. I bet he didn't sleep really well. The things I told him.
Sports are better with characters. Don't you think?
I agree.
If everybody's boring, who cares? It's no fun. That's the end of the third quarter. Today, it's August 27th, so today is the anniversary, I think the 35th anniversary of Ricky Henderson breaking Lou Brock's single-season record for stolen bases, right?
Yes.
He did it in 1982. And somebody posts on social media, it's like, I always liked Brock better than Henderson. I never cared for Ricky's attitude. And I'm like, what, because he loved baseball? You don't like, are you the kind of person that has no fun?
Yeah, hey, Ricky did it all.
Is there anybody more fun than Ricky? Like in baseball,
there was nobody. There isn't anybody like that anymore in baseball. That's where baseball needs to come back. You need guys like that.
But it's just like he wasn't wearing bling or promoting himself. He was just being himself and having fun. We need more people like that's what Ken Batdorf is.
In the first person.
Yeah, and the third person.
Third person. Yeah, that's right.
Now he says that's over. That's kind of overblown. He only did it a couple times. But Ricky being Ricky. There's nothing better than Ricky being Ricky. And Ricky talking about Ricky.
Oh. I remember those days, though. They were every sports center was, how many steals did he get? But that's a lost art. They don't do that in baseball anymore.
I mean, he'd steal second, then he'd steal third.
Small ball baseball is gone.
Now, to be fair, there are not many guys who can do what he did. Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So if there was a guy that came up who could do what he did, they wouldn't care. They'd let him do it. So the ball's at the 17, first down up to the 36. So a 1st and 19 coming up. Harris throwing to the outside. Ford drops it, and maybe it's a good thing because he got lit up right after the play. That was Karan Baldwin. Incomplete. 2nd down.
Yeah, he took a shot.
We have some characters in this league. You talk about Ken Batdorf. We mentioned him. Mashinsky's a little bit of a character. He sides it a little bit.
Yeah, Ken Mashinsky makes me laugh. Always positive when I talk to him.
All right, I got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
So both Ramona and King recently experienced some playoff droughts. Obviously, Ramona has been better of late. They made the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years. But King last made the playoffs in 2016. Can you tell me – okay, let me ask you the first question is, when's the last time they made it back-to-back? Back-to-back CIF playoffs.
Oh. What, 13-14?
06-07.
06-07?
Yeah, and here's so they didn't make the playoffs between the 07. They didn't make it again until 2016. Last King coach, back-to-back CIF playoffs.
I'm going to have to go with Ken Mashinsky.
You are correct. Ding, ding. 2nd and long coming up for King. Here's Harris throwing, and it's complete at the 25-yard line. Down he goes. Baldwin with the tackle. The catch by Jaden Mosley.
See, and then you have the assistant coach, Rich Martinez, like I said, was the head coach at Ramona.
That's right.
I think Rich Martinez might be, he's in my top 3 favorite coaches ever.
Oh, is he?
He is. He's just above Batdorf.
So I was incorrect earlier. They need to get up to the 46 for the 1st down. I saw the 36. That's actually where the ball started. For a 1st down, you need to get to the 46. So 3rd and long here, 3rd and 18 from the 27-yard line. Haro's got some time. He'll throw to the outside, complete to Simley Flores. That's the guy you want. Stiff arms Nicky Chavez, but right there to clean it up for Ramona and make the tackle is Desmond Watkins. So complete up to the 43, 4th down coming up. It'll be a 4th and 3. And they'll leave the offense on there. Will Jason McMains and the Wolves of King. So here we go, down 17 points. McMain's going to leave his offense out there and try to make it happen. Simley Flores to the bottom of the screen. Turn and give to Neal, who's got the 1st down. Neal pounds the 1st down up to the 47-yard line. So way to manage that 1st and 27 situation. They get the 1st down to the 47-yard line. So Jaden Mosley to the top of your screen. Simley Flores to the bottom of your screen. Here's the give to Neal. Neal running, traversing into Ramona territory. Pulled down at the 43-yard line. 10-yard pickup there. Sticks move up.
Give it to Neal. He's been phenomenal the last couple plays here. Keep feeding him.
And the big boys up front getting some push for King as well. Talking about Jake Holland, Jacob Cook, Aiden Ruedas, Shimon Gray, Matt Tyndall. Tyndall, the man in the middle, kind of orchestrating this offense. Toss to Neal running right. Past the first wave, 35, 30. Dragged down at the 30-yard line, making the tackle. Desmond Watkins for Ramona. Short tackling bunch in that linebacking core. Another 1st down.
Neal just a junior. Man, he's had himself here a pretty nice series.
So they already have one nose tackle out, and now Michael Quintero getting up slowly for Ramona. You know, we talked about Jason McMains earlier. How about kind of the roundabout career of Ken Mashinsky? You know, he's from the San Gabriel Valley. I thought he was from Riverside. He's from San Gabriel, Temple City, where he grew up. Temple City, if you're familiar with Norco, a little bit like Norco. It's kind of the Norco with a
one town,
kind of one team, one town kind of situation there. And His first teaching and head coaching position was right here at King, and he loved King while he was here. That mentioned back-to-back CIF playoffs. In fact, in 2007, they got all the way to the semifinal when they lost to Lou Randall's North team. Remember, North won back-to-back.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he went on and coached Beckman for a couple of years. He was at John W. North as an assistant for a little bit.
He was at San Bernardino
Valley, and it's worked out. I mean, he's landed it at Ramona, a very good fit for him.
And he was also, we found out, the flag football assistant coach to Bob Green, who's the assistant coach at King a couple years ago. They coached flag football together.
His son was the quarterback.
That's right.
So Bob Green knows a little bit about Nate Johnson. From the 29, it's a 1st and 10. They just feed Neal. Neal this time running left. Cruises up to the 20. He's still on his feet to the outside to the 10. And inside the 5 tackled. First man there was Isaac Guerrero. 25-yard run there for Neal. And first down again. 1st and goal for King. And they figured something out.
Ramona hasn't figured out Neal. I will say this, Bob Green did say a funny line, I have to say. He said, yeah, look at that guy over there. And I said, he goes, Ken Mashinsky. He goes, I have to say he was my assistant coach. Bob Green said, I said, what do you mean he was your assistant coach? Yeah, we were champion flag football coaches. He's gone on to better things, he said.
McPherson in motion. Here's Neal pounding. Neal driving. Neal to the end zone. Did he get in? They're saying he's stopped. So Neal absorbing a lot of contact, gets down to the 1-yard line. Clock continues to move, 2nd and goal. The nose of the football resting against the goal line there.
Do you think they're going to go to Neal?
Is he on the field? There he is.
Yep, they're going to him.
2nd and goal. Neal. This time he's in. Touchdown. King with a touchdown. 7:45 to play in this one.
Get that guy some Gatorade. He did some big work.
Milstead on to try the PAT. That was like a Fast Times at Ridgemont High drive. Remember Tackle Jefferson? By Jefferson. Yeah. Run by Neal. Run by Neal. Just feeding Neal all the way down. Noah Neal announcing his presence with a little bit of authority. And here's Milstead for the PAT for King. They can pull to within 10. High snap, gets it down. And through the uprights it goes. Nice job there by the holder, Joshua Harper, going up to get that high snap and get it down for Milstead to pump it through the uprights, and it's 24-14.
That's a big play right there. Get it within 10.
First score in the second half, Jeff. Both Ramona and King have had opportunities. They haven't been able to convert, but King finally converts that, and now you put it on the defense. Can they stop Ramona here?
Well, momentum has shifted, definitely. Great camera work there on the goal line. Nobody does it better than Riverside TV. Nobody.
That's why they're award-winning. Who's here today? We got Scott here. We got Carrie here. Ross is here as always. Brad, I saw Steve out there. Ryan. Kimmy's here. And then we have our volunteers.
We have Delaney, Ferris, Carson, and Alexander. King students working the cameras, helping out the guys, the dudes and the ladies.
So Milstead to kick it away. Back paddling to receive it is Nicky Chavez. He'll field it on the hop at the 6. Chavez up the right side. Runs into some contact just over the 20-yard line. So 1st and 10 is Ramona's offense back out there. They haven't been as crisp here in the second half as they did in the first half.
Yeah, they seem to be on all cylinders in the first half. But, conditioning and so forth, this is game one
Yeah.
for these guys, and that's going to play into it. And I have to say, it was 113 or whatever it was today. Yeah. You and I were talking. I am now a waif model. I've lost so much weight in the last 48 hours.
It's a process, as they say. A little bit of confusion. Villarreal running the football, starting at the 23, he's up to the 26. 3 yards. Clock continues to move. For Ramona, at this point, what they want to do is just keep the clock moving. Now, part of it, remember, the defense for Ramona, they lost Marcus Perez, their big nose tackle, in the first half. That maybe changed some things about how King could attack them. But otherwise, even with that, I think the Ramona defense has stood up pretty well. Gabe Guzman running the defense for the Rams. Second down. Throw the ball to Vila. Vila to the 30 to the 35. First down, Ramona. Got an 8-yard pickup on that pitch and catch. And the flag will bring it back. A hold on Ramona. So wipe that play away, and then they'll back off the Rams, Jeff. Alma Mater having a little trouble here.
They're having some issues here in the second half.
Now, when you were Ramona, it was Myron Miller was the head coach, correct?
No. We had Don Markham.
We had Markham.
We had Don Markham, and we had Ors Stekovich, who also won a CIF championship.
And his son played somewhere, right?
He did.
Yeah. Because I was reading Myron Miller won CIF titles at Ramona in '89 and also at Tustin in 2011. So I thought maybe you were there with him. Short run there from the 18-yard line.
We tied Damien.
That's right. It was a tie. I remember that. Yeah. So Bruins stopped in his tracks. It'll be 3rd and long.
This is getting good.
Now, this is in the past. Johnson has converted a couple of big third. Actually, it was a 4th down where he ran, and then he converted a big 3rd down to Jordan Daniels. Let's watch Daniels on this play. He's in the near slot, lofting it towards the sideline. He's looking for Daniels in coverage with Torrey Simmons, and incomplete will bring up 4th down.
Yeah, they just don't look as comfortable here in the second half. I think, Coach McMains has adjusted quite a bit here in the second half.
Yeah. Well, give credit to the defensive, your buddy Rich Martinez and Chavez Robinson. They're kind of co-running the defense. And again, part of that COVID thing I was talking about was coaches. So they've had to have coaches on standby as well. So Conrado to punt. Line of scrimmage, the 16. He stands at the 6. Over his head into the end zone. It's still loose. It'll be a touchdown. Picked up by Shackelford. A defensive touchdown for King. And the Wolfpack fans rise here at Orange Crest. Now, in that situation, if you're the punter, you just got to punch that out of the end zone and go for the safety. Yeah, take the safety. But Conrado trying to do that, but he was swarmed on by a Wolfpack. Let's take another look. We got the replay going on right here. Shackelford scoops it up in the end zone for the 6, 24-20.
Similar to last week.
In a minute 55, 2 unanswered touchdowns for King. There were no points scored in the third quarter. And then within about a 2-minute window here in the fourth, 13 points on the board for the Wolves. Here's Milstead, ready to kick it for the PAT. Whenever I read Milstead, I always think about Milhouse from The Simpsons.
I love Milhouse.
Good character.
Good kid. I have a new cartoon, by the way, everybody should watch.
Which is?
Sanjay and Craig.
You were talking about that the other day. Do the
the
boys like it?
It's my favorite TV show right now. I know it's silly, but yes, if you're watching Sanjay and Craig, give it a go and tell me what you think.
I'll ask you after the PAT about Fast Johnny and Luke. The PAT up, no good. So a little bit less breathing room now for Ramona. They'll get the football, though, with 5:50 to play.
Yeah, that's when you're watching a replay. You have to just kick it out of the end zone or to dive on it, get the safety, lose the 2 points, and
because then you're talking at 20. Then it's 24-16.
Exactly.
And it's still you have to get the touchdown 2-point conversion to tie. I remember if you ever watched Last Chance U. There's a sequence in that, I think season 3 of that, where they're in a similar situation and they're really backed up, and the punter says, "Hey, coach, why don't we just take the intentional safety? Because then I get to kick from the 20 and we got 2 minutes to play." And then he says no, and then when the kid, says, "Coach, that's a pretty good idea."
Yeah.
And he waves to the kid, "Do it." That was Jason Brown when he was at Independence. Deep kick into the end zone, and it's a touchback, and Ramona starts at the 20-yard line. 24-20, the Wolfpack has come roaring back with 13 unanswered points here in the fourth quarter within a minute 55 of each other.
I'll tell you what, this is fun football. We thought it was almost over, but man, King comes back.
Whether it's basketball or football and baseball, obviously, coaches always tell me the hardest thing to do is to finish.
That's true.
You got to teach players how to finish, and you finish a play. That's why you go play to play, because you're teaching them how to finish. And if you learn how to finish play to play, that's how you learn to finish a game. From the 20, it's 1st and 10 for Ramona. Here's the throw to Vila, and Vila stumbles down. He made the catch. No, they're going to say he didn't. The ball hit the floor, and second and 10. So that's about the third drop we've seen.
See, and to be honest, and I would never second-guess Coach McMains. I might have gone with Neal for 2. Then you're down 2 points.
Remember I asked Coach before the game.
You did.
You were there. I said, "Hey, if you're coming down late, you're down by a touchdown, you can tie or go for 2." He's like, "Oh, I'm going for 2."
See, that's what made me think. And I was like, that he put you within 2 and try to get field position, and
Yeah, because if you miss, it's still just 24-20. You're right. You are correct. Shiner in motion. Johnston down the field. Intercepted. Dayton Ford with the pick at the 44-yard line. He was looking for Jake Valenzuela, and the Wolfpack defense swarming. Wow. That's an athletic play by Ford. He had to go get that. Here's another look at it. Ford in perfect position. That's not an easy pick to make, and he makes the play when he needs to make it.
Caught that ball nowhere near his chest. Like you said, had to go out and get it. Grabs it with 2 hands. Going to perfect play there.
That's just a tough play, Jeff.
Wow.
That's a tough play, and he made it. So 5:40 to play in the fourth quarter. A 4-point lead for Ramona. The defense has to step up now. From the 43 of the Rams, here's the give to Neal. They haven't had an answer for him. He dives inside the 40 to about the 38. 5-yard pickup on first down. The good news is back into the ballgame is Michael Quintero. We saw him leave the field. They've already lost their starting nose guard, have the Rams in Marcus Perez.
Yeah, you're going to see a whole lot of Neal here.
So McPherson in the far slot. Bottom of the screen is Simile Flores. Haros, the freshman quarterback, making his first varsity start. Seam route incomplete. Intended for Brian Hoover. Coverage Joseph Soto for Ramona. Another look at it. I agree with you, Jeff. I would just feed the big fella. I just feed Neal. Give him the ball until they can stop him.
That's a big play, 3rd down.
You ever have a player, you're a basketball coach, so I hate to, it's apples and oranges, but you ever have one of those guys that can just get to the rim whenever he wanted to, and you just tell him to go to the rim? Because why do those guys all want to shoot threes?
I've had a couple of kids that were pretty good athletes, and I was one of those, because I was a scorer myself. So
right.
I always, if I saw somebody had the hot hand, I'd call.
Right.
I rarely called timeouts. I would get everybody to say, just give such and such, give Gasol the ball every time until they stopped you. Then I would yank him out. If they stopped you, Gasol, you're out, buddy.
Yeah. That's straight up. Hey, as long as you score, you're in the ball game. We had a rule, players not getting back on defense and cherry picking.
Yeah.
And the coach said, hey, listen, you can cherry pick all you want. You better score.
Yeah.
Because if you cherry pick and don't score, you're not playing.
Ever.
You're sitting next to me the rest
Exactly.
of the game. Yeah. 3rd and 6, ball at the 39-yard line of Ramona. First down to the 33. Harrows to throw. Here comes pressure. Looking down the field, looking deep, and it's incomplete. Stops the clock, 4:52. 4th and 6. Offense not going anywhere. They're staying on the field. They called 2 plays in the huddle. How about this for Jason McMains? Talk about putting your chips on the pass line. His freshman quarterback is leaving him out there on 4th and 6. Pressure coming. Down he goes. Ball is loose. Doesn't matter. 4th down, big play by the Ramona defense.
Wow.
Javier Castaneda causing all kinds of trouble. Joseph Martinez also in there for Ramona. Ramona takes over on downs. Looked like a great situation after the turnover. So in the first half, King's defense played around a turnover. Now Ramona's defense plays around an interception, and they get really good field position, Jeff.
Great field position, and I'll tell you what, all they have to do is protect the football, and they could sneak out of here with a win because, hey, King played phenomenal here in the second half.
If I'm Mush, I take a shot here. Right after the turnover, right after the turnover, throw it downfield. Let's see what we can do. Johnson in trouble, dumps it off, incomplete, precarious play. Couple of caroms on that, could have ended up being a deflection and a pick. 2nd and 10 coming up. I just saw Valenzuela line up top of the screen. I'm like, you know what? Let's send him on that 9 route and see what happens.
I think that's where they were going, but 2 guys had it.
It's not easy. That's why I was so impressed with Ford's play, because just situationally as well, it's tough because you tense up a little bit sometimes in those situations. 2nd and 10. Vila to the bottom of the screen, Valenzuela to the top of the screen for Ramona. High snap, give to Bruins. Bruins trying to get the edge. Now he cuts back up inside, driving forward. How about that? Second effort, gets the first down as he leans to the 40-yard line.
That's a huge play by Bruins.
I mean, there's a lot of time left, Jeff. If I'm Ramona, I still need a score here. Make it a 2-possession game.
It would make you happy, but man, this defense has stymied
Hey,
the
Kings
Rams.
played well.
Yeah,
Kings played well.
They have stymied the Rams here in the second half.
You know, it's like basketball, too. It's always rough to play from behind because just because you stop doesn't mean anything. You got to score on the other end. First down. They'll keep it on the ground to Bruins. Thrown down by the ankles, Chase Shackelford saying, how do you do? 1-yard pickup for Bruins, but keeps the clock moving. The Wolves have 1 timeout left. Ramona has all 3. Under 4 minutes to play here in regulation, 4th quarter. It's been a good one. 24 for Ramona, 20 for King. The Wolves have outscored the Rams, though, 13-0 here in the 4th quarter. Shiner in the near slot. Daniels in the far slot. Daniels has been a big play guy today as well. Here's the throw. This is Valenzuela, and he can't catch it. Incomplete. 3rd down.
You know, that's about 3 or 4 passes we've seen the last 2 nights where perfect, good throws. But, guys, I think they really think they start making their move before they actually catch it because you're so wide open.
You got to look it all the way in. Big play here for the King defense, 3rd and 10. In the first half, Ramona was very good in these 3rd and 4th down situations, not so much in the second half. So let's see, can they come up with another 3rd down conversion? So Vila at the near side, in the near slot, Shiner. Daniels in the far slot, top of your screen is Valenzuela. Play action, here's the pressure. Throwing left, looking for Vila overthrown. Torrey Simmons on the coverage, 4th down. You know, this is where experience helps, Jeff. This
does.
part of the game. So Ramona is going to talk it over on 4th and 10. They're going to call timeout. I would think you got to kick it here, correct?
You have to. You really just rely on your D here. Get them, push them back as far as you can, and just play defense. Prevent D, nothing deep.
You know, Coach McMains, when we spoke, was talking about the couple of things he's concerned. I mean, he said, listen, I'm going to look at our timing today because you mentioned only 7 weeks of work, and I had to halt the work a lot. And then just, you know, how you play together. He said, hey, last week we're scrambling to patch things up. You know, we're finally getting some players back. We're getting on the field together. The seniors are a great group, but you got to integrate everybody in there. And now all of a sudden you're in one of those games where you need all the little things that you would normally have, but you don't because you haven't had the time to prepare. And you know, and this has been a fun game tonight, but I think we'll see the best of Ramona and King later in the season when we see them down the road.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
So Conrado standing on his own side of the field to kick it away. Simile Flores at his goal line. And Conrado's just going to kind of pooch it down inside the 20. It'll kick out of bounds at the 15. So a short kick, 25 yards, but accomplishes what he needs because now King's got to go 85 yards to win this one.
Yeah, and 3 minutes and 10 seconds with a freshman quarterback.
But remember, we saw them on a big play. Simile Flores has been quiet, and he's the kind of guy not going to stay quiet long. It's like when teams held you to 7 points in the first half, you knew Jeff Gorham was going to make some plays in the second half.
I had to put up 30 in the second.
Like when Dave Rice held you to 7 in the first half and you put 48 on him in the second half.
Yes, that's right.
From the 15, it's a 1st and 10. This is Shackelford running up to the 20. Goes down there. Combining on the hit for Ramona, Baldwin, Karan Baldwin along with Desmond Watkins. Watkins has been all over the field. So call it the 22, 2nd and 3. And I think they're going to follow your advice. I think they're going to feed Neal here, Jeff. Haros thrown to the outside. The ball caught out of bounds, Dayton Ford. I'm wondering if maybe Neal's a little banged up because Shackelford's out here in this sequence. Maybe that's why they didn't go to him last time. Maybe he's a little banged up. So 3rd down, 1st down to the other side of the 25, so maybe 1.5 to 2 yards on the 3rd down as the clock stopped as Ford got out of bounds. 3rd and 2 coming up. Play action. Throwing. There's that guy, Simile Flores, for a 1st down. Nicky Chavez on the coverage, about a 9-yard completion there. And again, we haven't seen a lot from Simile Flores.
So 1 timeout left for King, 2 for Ram High.
Clock moving. 1st down and 10 from the 33. Simile Flores at the bottom of your screen. In the far slot, McPherson. Harrows out of the backfield for Shackelford. Shackelford over the 35 to about the 37. 4 yards, but importantly gets out of bounds and stops the clock. Using the sideline to maintain the clock. Well, they'll say he stepped out of bounds at the 35, so just a 2-yard pickup. Interesting things happening here in Orange Crest. It was a 24-7 game going into the 3rd quarter. King has outscored Ramona 13-0 here in the 4th. Shackelford ridden down from behind. Nathan Horton making the tackle.
Hey, here's the play, right? This is the play of the game.
So 1st down to the 43. They play from the 37. 3rd and 6 coming up. Simile Flores to the bottom of the screen. Top of the screen is Brian Hoover. for King. Here comes pressure. Lining it up. Here's Simile Flores turning back. Incomplete. I wonder if that was tipped.
It was tipped, yes.
So 4th down. You can't kick it away. You're going for it here. And they knew that. They knew that when they threw that out down the sideline to Flores. They were going for the big strike on that play. Now I think you'll probably see something in the middle of the field. From the Ramona 37, a minute 26 to play. 24-20, the Rams trying to hang on here. Furious comeback being mounted, though, by King. Jaron Horace steps up in the pocket, down the middle. Incomplete. A hit by Bruins late, no flag. The ball was already over his head. I don't think that's a penalty. Ball's already over his head, incomplete, and the ball goes over to Ramona. Get another look at it. Now the King faithful understandably want the PI. I don't think that was PI, but let's look at it again. Here's the throw down the field, over his head. What do you think?
Nope. I'm going to have to decide. Ball's past him. It's a tough one, though.
It's not a late hit either. You didn't think it was a late hit?
I don't think so.
So ball over on downs to Ramona. 1 timeout left for the Wolves. Their defense will have to play pretty tight here. And if you're Ramona, there's 2 things. Obviously, if you can get a score, you want to get one. But most importantly, you manage that clock.
You got to force King to call that timeout.
Yeah, so you run the ball the first down to get him to call the timeout. 24-20 Ramona. It's been a good one. All Ramona's points coming in the first half. Bruins up the middle to the 30. 7 yards for him. Tackle on the play, Zyfer Schankenberg. So no timeout. They're just going to let it run. And Bruins will look to the sideline, and they'll let the play clock run down as much as they can, meaning Ramona. From the 31. Bruins up the middle, ridden down from behind by Evan Gabriel Simon. Now they'll call timeout as it goes to 3rd down. So King exhausts their final timeout with 31 seconds to play. And right back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd and 5. And I'm guessing Bruins will get to see the ball one more time.
Of course he is. What a good game, though. We've had some great ones here. You know, we've had some blowouts in the last, the last year. But this has been phenomenal so far.
Ramona came out, and we talked with Coach Mashinsky before the game, and he just talked how disappointed the Rams were that their game last week was canceled. And you saw that in the first half. They're coming out, executing everything, running crisp. And they went back into the locker room, and they kind of came out, and maybe they felt their legs a little bit. You know, it's a hot day. So you got to account for that. The fact that it was a hot day out here in Riverside today, and maybe a little bit of exhaustion kind of crept in. And then King, who hasn't really had the full number of practices, they kind of felt pretty good coming in the second half. And in the fourth quarter in particular, 13 unanswered points. Trips to the top of your screen on 3rd and 4. Bruins jukes inside, finds some space. 1st down and more to the 10. And last man to push him out, Simile Flores, and the clock stops with 19 seconds left. Nice run by Bruins inside the 5, about a 27-yard run. So 1st and goal for Ramona, I believe, Jeff. They'll just snap it one more time, and it'll be done.
Yes, exactly. I don't even think you need to snap it. I guess they are.
Here's the kneel down, and that'll be the ball game. 24-20, Ramona with the win in week 1 over the home team King. Well-played football game tonight. Big win for the alma mater. They're 1-0.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I think both teams played great halves. It was a game of 2 halves. I think Ramona came out, new quarterback. They ran their stuff pretty well. But I liked both teams, the tenacity of Ramona in the first half, and then King came out and matched it in the second. So both coaches have to be happy with the way they played. I know Coach McMains in his debut here at King has to be happy playing this Ramona team 2 years removed from a CIF championship game. So both teams played well, but Ramona just happened to outscore them.
You ever play in the post when you back in the day when you were in high school?
Not too much.
Remember they tell you do your work early?
Yeah.
Ramona did their work early today.
They did.
They ran
really
out to a 24-7 lead. King played well down the stretch, and they put up 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, but just couldn't quite recover from that early start by Ramona. 14 points in the first quarter, 10 points in the second quarter. Touchdown by Bo Bruins. 2 touchdowns in the first quarter by Bo Bruins. The last play of the first quarter, Harrows threw his first touchdown of his career to Elijah Simile Flores. Then in the second quarter, a 15-yard pass from Nate Johnson to Valenzuela for Ramona. A field goal to end the first half by Isaac Conrado made it 24-7. Then the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter for King both came within about 2 minutes of each other. Neal had a 1-yard run at 7:45, and then a fumble recovery in the end zone by Chase Shackelford at 5:50, and that's how it'll end 24-20 in favor of Ramona. Final thoughts, Jeff Gorham.
Like I said, both teams, a great game here on Riverside TV. Both coaches have to be happy with the way they played. I think we're going to see a different team when you and I cover these guys later on this season, and it's going to be positivity for both of these programs.
Yeah, if you're a Ramona fan, enjoy the win. Your team gets off to a 1-0 start. If you're a King fan, don't be disheartened. I think these guys are going to be okay. Coach McMains will have them ready as they get into Big 8 play. Well, we had fun tonight. 24-20 the final. For my broadcast partner, Jeff Gorham, and our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew from Martin Luther King High School in the city of Riverside. It's a 24-20 final, Ramona over King. Until next week, we got Notre Dame and North from John W. North High School next week. We'll talk to you then. So long, everybody.